high-profile head coaches lead their teams in Anthony Becht and Bob Stoops. St. Louis punched a playoff ticket with Manny Wilkins rising from the shadows for an injured A.J. McCarron. He now collides with Luis Perez, who's been on an 11-year odyssey to get to the NFL. He and his teammates are on the big stage again today. In Week 9, in a 10-week season, Skip Holtz's Birmingham team is undefeated and the betting favorite. They will host Michigan in the first round. Birmingham is playing San Antonio today, and if Birmingham wins that, and if St. Louis wins this, St. Louis is playing the rest of the way at home. With that, we say hello, and thanks for joining us. Alongside Sam Acho, Mike Monaco with you, Stormy Bonatoni, and Cole Kublik are down on the field. So Anthony Becht, this longtime NFL tight end, has led his team to the playoffs. But they have quarterback uncertainty swirling around them, yet still control their destiny for home field advantage.
And that uncertainty has become a little bit more clear. Manny Wilkins, who's a new starter, has played outstanding, at least as of last week. But their defense, for me, is the story. The St. Louis Battlehawks defense is keeping them in every single game.
In all aspects of that, you will hear about it here in professional football, what it sounds like. So let's go inside the locker room with Anthony Becht.
And dominate your one-on-one opponent. Dominate your one-on-one battle, Sam, man. You've got to do it. Now listen, they only give us 3 freaking hours to play. All this work we put in all week. Let's give them a show today. All right? So what? Don't be one of those damn teams that doesn't know how to win. Okay? All right? Let's go. I love you guys. Play hard. Can't wait to see you guys shine. Here we go.
A lot of love from Anthony Becht, who, again, former Alabama star A.J. McCarron was one of the MVP favorites in this league. But 2 weeks ago, he suffered an ankle injury here. McCarron was out last week. They don't want to use him today. And so, as you said, Sam, Manny Wilkins, who went almost 6 years between starts at quarterback, will get another start today.
But he stayed ready. Manny Wilkins, he is a musical artist as well. He talks about singing to himself between plays, but one thing that he does is he has a rhythm to his play. So you'll see these quick passes, you'll see some deep shots, but also you'll see his elusiveness and his elite running ability. You'll see him hurdle over defenders. You'll see him tuck it and run. That's what makes Manny Wilkins different from A.J. McCarron, and a different wrinkle for the defense to have to get prepared for.
Manny said he was staying low, getting off the radar. He's now back on the radar with Stormy.
Yeah, Manny, you got your first professional start last week. This week, another opportunity to show what you're made of. What's your biggest emphasis coming into this one?
Get the playmakers the ball, let them play fast. Really just ultimately go out there and have fun with our group of guys and stay poised, stay under control, and just go ball.
Have fun.
Thank you.
And guys, remember, in the UFL, we also talked betting. Last week, we saw a huge move in the line when it was confirmed from the public that Wilkins would be starting instead of A.J. McCarron. This week, that was the expectation. It was baked in. But we still saw some Arlington money come in late. They are plus 2.5. It's the over 46 that I'm looking at today. St. Louis is the best over team in the UFL, cashing in 6 of their last 7 games. I think both of these offenses should go to work today. And Cole Kublik, rumor has it, you've got a leader of the Arlington offense with you.
Yeah, we don't need confirmation of what Luis Perez has meant to this team this year, leading the UFL in 7 statistical passing categories. The wagon, this is a fierce pass rush you're going to see off the edge today. How do you and your offense just offset that part of this defense for St. Louis?
Yeah, we got a couple of different things we're going to do. We're trying to get the ball out of our hands early with some chips, some nudging and stuff, try to get the ball out of our hands again or have some more time. So hopefully it works out.
Thanks, Luis.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, that's the plan for Luis Perez and 1-7 Arlington, led by Bob Stoops, who has had a ton of close losses. 5 of the 7 have been by 1 score.
I was talking to Bob Stoops before the game, and he said oftentimes these losses have come down to one play in the last 4 minutes of the game. And so this team isn't a typical 1-7 team. One of St. Louis's coaches said this is the best 1-7 team I've ever seen.
So we'll see what we've got today here in the UFL, where kickoffs are from the 20 to encourage more returns. Average NFL drive starts at the 26-yard line, but in the UFL, how about field position? Starts at the 37. This is Juan Manigo, played the last couple of years in Mexico, cuts out to the left side with a stiff arm, and Manigo stretches it out to the 33. What does it sound like to be on a professional football team headed to the playoffs? We'll show you that today. St. Louis's quarterback. It's MVP candidate wideout. It's 9-year NFL quarterback turned offensive coordinator. They all have live microphones on them, so you can sit back and learn this sport at the highest level. And Luis Perez will teach you that as well.
Luis Perez has been around guys like Drew Brees in his career, so he wants to be more of a cerebral quarterback and make quick decisions.
He has poured every ounce of his being the last 11 years into chasing that NFL dream. Can they play spoiler today? It's a slant to start, and it's incomplete to Javonte Payton, who got popped by Quinterio Cole. And Payton is down, the former SEC wide receiver at Mississippi State and Tennessee.
Javonte Payton started his career at Northwest Mississippi Community College, transferred to Mississippi State, as you said, Tennessee, and now he's down after that big hit from Quinterio Cole.
Who has been one of the best players for St. Louis. 11 seconds in, we will step aside and we will check on Javonte Payton when we come back to Arlington, Texas next. Javonte Payton has been a big play machine. Among the leaders in the UFL in total touchdowns, tied for the most receiving touchdowns. Originally from Nashville, the 25-year-old in a lot of pain walking off.
And this is tough to see, not only for him, you think about this game and how violent it can be, but also the big playability that he contains. Javonte Payton had a huge big play a few weeks ago, so they're going to have to alter their offense without him.
And it's an offense that, as Cole told you, has been very productive. Fourth in scoring offense, second in total offense, and this is Davion Smith, the former Michigan Wolverine at 230 pounds for 6 yards. Tough to bring down and somersaulting back up. Well, Luis Perez has put up good numbers as well. A guy who didn't play quarterback in high school, taught himself how to play by watching YouTube, walked on at a junior college, and productive again.
And this is a guy who was the XFL championship game MVP. He's the reason this team went to the championship game last year.
He wanted the clock reset, and he will always orchestrate pre-snap. On third down, Perez on an out to Deontay Burnett. Slot wide out with 3 years of NFL experience for a first down.
And you talk about people stepping up. So when one guy goes down, it always has that next man up mentality. Deontay Burnett out of USC, another good receiver for this team, but he's got to be a bigger piece.
Teammates with Juju Smith-Schuster, Adoree Jackson, Ronald Jones, Sam Darnold in his time in Southern California.
Awesome pin and pull here, fellas.
Smith with a lane. Good gain on first down. Cole, pin and pull for the uninitiated is what?
Offensive lineman just one blocks back and 2 or 3 pull around. So you saw that last time. Guard's going to block back, and then center backs out guard, pull around, little gap scheme run.
And Chuck Long wants to run it more. He was telling us this week. To the air, quick one, and that is caught at the 45 by Isaiah Winstead for a first down. 24-year-old out of East Carolina, wrapped up by Tim Harris.
And also, I talked to Jonathan Heimbach, offensive line coach, before the game. That right there is what he said they had to be good at. Quick game, quick ball distribution to offset those pass rushers for the Battlehawks.
And we heard from them saying that this is one of the most elite pass rushing units in the UFL. And so quick game and some of the pin and pull, the run scheme, keeps the pass rush at least a little bit more off balance.
ESPN Bet wouldn't even give you odds on how likely it was Cole was going to talk to an offensive line coach pregame.
That's tight end 81 here.
Perez rolls, ducks away, and fires up the seam, intended for Austin Allen, and incomplete. Second down.
So, Cole, you're down on the sideline, on that Arlington sideline. You've heard that pin and pull and heard the watch tight end 81. What are you seeing down there?
Well, they want to try to use some motion, some shifting to get this defense working a little bit early. They want to try to wear this St. Louis defense down. And, Acho, you know it as a pass rusher. What did you hate? Retracing back to the football, a screen where you pass rush, and then you got to run to the sidelines. They want to try to wear this front down a little bit early.
You're saying, here we go.
A defense that's been excellent, led by Donnie Abraham, the former Pro Bowler. Here's a screen, and Winstead drops it. Third down.
Here's the downside on the screen game that you talked about. The downside is an incomplete pass like that. Now, all of a sudden, instead of a 2nd and 5 if you ran it, now it's a 3rd and 10. Obvious pass situation. Pass rushers get their ears pinned back and go.
Cover it up, man.
Donnie Abraham, 9 years in the NFL with the Bucs and the Jets. His group's 2nd in total defense. 5 wide for Luis Perez on 3rd down. Incomplete, intended for Sal Cannella. And St. Louis gets a stop with 4th down coming.
Canella's been one of the main targets for this Arlington Renegades offense. And you look at the other side of the ball, the defense knows that. So you saw not necessarily a bracket coverage, but you saw some focus more towards Sal Cannella.
Bracket coverage is a couple of guys keeping tabs on him.
Correct. One guy inside, one guy outside, maybe a double team. Now, it wasn't that in that case, but as a safety, you lean towards whoever the main priority is of the offense.
Well, Marquette King will get it away. 35-year-old, former All-Pro, part of 6 years in the NFL, and multi-talented, which we will get into. And he sends back a sandwich inside the 15. He salutes at midfield because he pins Manny Wilkins and St. Louis deep in their own territory. All right, so here we go. Manny Wilkins in start number 2. We showed you A.J. McCarron dealing with an ankle injury. He is active today. And again, Wilkins, before last week, hadn't started since the 2018 college football season.
But he stayed ready. He's been with this team the last 2 years. He studied the offense. He understands it completely. And so there's a lot of trust between him and offensive coordinator Bruce Gradkowski.
See the over-under on passing yards. Last week it was 126 through the air and 79 on the ground for the dual threat former Arizona State Sun Devil, who finds Darius Shepard, a 4-time national champion at North Dakota State, with a quick hitter for 3.
And Darius Shepard is the one of the most reliable receivers for this team. Hasn't had the season that he's wanted so far, but still going to be a go-to.
See Manny Wilkins trying to get that play call in, and perhaps some issues with the communications in the headset, getting the call from OC Bruce Gradkowski. Jacob Saylors has been one of the best running backs. It's Wilkins on a screen, and nothing doing to Stephen Mitchell Jr. Blown up immediately by Stephen Jones Jr.
And you can tell that something was said between last week and this week. Last week, this Arlington defense was missing tackle after tackle, gave up a few big 50-plus yard touchdowns. This week, you see Stephen Jones Jr. come from the outside in. You see inside-out leverage. So that's sometimes it's practice, sometimes just that motivation of saying we cannot put on tape this week what we did last week.
You asked their defensive coordinator, Jay Hayes, and he said there was some embarrassment with last week. 3rd down and 6, low snap. Wilkins handled it, steps up, and this is what he can do with his legs. Manny Wilkins searching for space, but he gets wrapped up a couple of yards shy by a J.N.A. Harris, and it's 4th down.
Going back to last week and this week, you have a new offensive coordinator, better get a new starting quarterback. You don't know what to expect. And so last week, Manny Wilkins many times tucked it and ran it. This week, Arlington watched that and said, okay, we're going to have a J.N.A. Harris essentially spy Manny Wilkins, and that's why he was able to keep him from getting that first down. A fast guy on a fast guy.
Yeah, a DB in a J.N.A. Harris out of USC. Sterling Hoffrichter standing at his own 6. Former NFL punter after an All-American career at Syracuse. Spins one away to Jawan Manigo from the 30 with some wiggle. And Manigo gets about 4 yards, and Arlington will have it for the 2nd time. From one punter to another. Hofrichter and Marquette King.
Well, Marquette King backed his up down inside the goal line. Show us just on the football what has to happen to get that ball to check up the way you did last time.
Make sure you grip it right, and then you want to make sure you get enough hang time on it to where it bounces on the ground. It gives you a chance to flop up, because you can't really control that much, but you can control it a lot more when you hit it high.
Are you kicking the point?
You got to hit the point, kind of back here a little bit. Anybody want to learn how to kick that part right there, hold it.
What about the celebration you showed last time?
I had to steal that one from Pat McAfee, man. I learned that one from McAfee, so I had to take that one.
It's for the brand.
For the brand.
All right, well, we'll get to the concert later.
Let's get it. Oh, yeah.
For the brand, indeed. Marquette King, Pat McAfee, it's all happening with the specialists. Luis Perez starts the second drive with his first connection to Sal Cannella out of Auburn, fourth in the league in receptions, coming off back-to-back 9-catch games.
So that 9 + 9, 18. 18 catches over the last 2 weeks, and that builds trust between quarterback and receiver. Sal Cannella is one of the best tight ends in the entire UFL, but the trust is being built over the last several weeks, and so that's why you're seeing him go back to him early.
This is on the ground with Devin Darrington out of Harvard at 5'8". Mike Rose in on the stop for a loss.
Sal Cannella and talked to him before the game. I said, why has it been better the last 2 weeks? As Otto just referenced, he said, man, we've just been doing it. It's just reps. It's just comfort level, just being around Perez. He said, I feel like he's got more confidence in me than anybody, and we're putting it to good use.
Well, he's not going to have Perez in here, Cole, because Holton Ahlers, 24-year-old out of East Carolina, steps in. And Chuck Long, the offensive coordinator, told us they want to get Ahlers some reps here down the stretch. And he can run it, but there's nowhere to go, and the ball came out at the end. Flopped on by Arlington with Bobby Evans, the left tackle, and it's fourth down regardless.
Holton Ahlers out of East Carolina is known for his legs. He's a prolific passer, but he's an elite-level runner as well. And so you see that zone read. The defense actually changes their mentality when a new quarterback comes in. It says, okay, this is not Luis Perez. This is a guy who's going to run the ball. So you can be more stout when you're playing the run, and you're not necessarily thinking, hey, let me rush up the field as a pass rusher.
Came in at 240 pounds. He's at 230 now and even more agile. Well, Marquette King ready for another. And there's a flag down back by the return man.
Delay game. Kicking team. 5-yard penalty. Reigns fourth down.
Mike, he must not care about game ball one, but the practice kick, like we found out last week from the actual kicker.
Right. We learned that very often a field goal kicker, when they get iced, they might not want to kick one for a freebie, a test run, because different balls out there.
Yeah, they want to stick with the ball that they've practiced with all week long. Game ball one, the one they trust the most.
Well, we get another look at Marquette King with Ja'Cour Pearson, Peasy as he's known, back from injury this week, waiting. From King, the self-described baddest NFL punter of all time, with more than 1 million Instagram followers. Hit the right part again this time, and Pearson muffs it near the 15, ball's loose, and it looks like St. Louis fell on it with Cam Kelly. Johnny on the spot, and that was nearly disaster for the Battlehawks, who do get it back for their second drive here in the first quarter. This presentation of the UFL will continue after these messages and a word from our ABC.
Day. Stay with Pittsburgh's Action Weather.
The UFL is brought to you by Simply Spiked, the official spiked beverage of the UFL. Try new Simply Spiked Limeade today. Celebrate responsibly. Simply Spiked Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. These teams met in St. Louis in week 2, and the Battlehawks with a walk-off from Andre Schmidt and a 3-point win over Arlington. Down to Cole.
Coach Stoops going with Holton Ahlers a little bit early there at quarterback. Can you just take us through the decision?
Well, he's a good quarterback, man. He can run. It's 3rd and 3. It was an option play. He had to give, or he could pull it and run. He had to give read, but he kept it, and that's why it ended up not gaining anything.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
It's a league of opportunity, and so a guy in Holton Ahlers who has been on this team all season long as their 3rd quarterback, getting a chance for some film.
And he's a great quarterback. I mean, think about it. In North Carolina, he's the leader in passing yards, total offense, passing touchdowns, all the offensive things you could think of for a high school quarterback. He's top 3 in all of them.
Had some time with the Seattle Seahawks last season as well. Second drive for St. Louis, and here's Jacob Sailors testing the right side and got tripped up by Story Jackson. Stormy.
Well, speaking of opportunity, nobody better than Manny Wilkins to discuss on this, who, talking to all the coaches and teammates about him, called him an exceptional backup, that everyone is rooting for him. They're in his corner. I heard the word repeatedly, deserving, just about the way he works, he preps the details. And the thing Anthony Becht said last week he noticed most about Manny was as the game went on, he got better. He had more confidence and poise. Let's see if they can rebound here and get something going on drive 2.
And they're really excited for him to get another chance. Sailors again, right side, and Sailors with a first down before he gets stood up by Miles Dorn. Sailors, the 24-year-old out of FCS East Tennessee State, a good weapon for Bruce Gradkowski.
And even whether it's Manny Wilkins, thinking about him, and I've loved watching him on the sideline of games the last few weeks. His demeanor.
Wilkins tucks and picks up a couple. What have you liked in that regard with his demeanor?
He stays dialed in. Even when he was the backup, when he wasn't getting any snaps at all in weeks 1 through 7, he was dialed in. He was watching every single thing. He was helping A.J. McCarron every time he came to the sideline. And I got a chance to go to their practices as well. He's the same way. And so he's the ultimate model of consistent meeting opportunity.
Again, 5 or 6 years just totally off the radar after spending 3 years as the starting quarterback at Arizona State. A.J. McCarron's got an ankle injury. Wayne Gallman couldn't catch the pass out of the backfield, and now third down.
So they slid that protection right into a 3-man game and had big 94. Andre St. Amour come right back down inside. Center was not quite ready for it, couldn't readjust, and Mike Banishuk couldn't get back inside to keep that pressure away.
And on that case, Manny Wilkins has to be a little bit quicker on that read. So that's a play that's meant to beat man coverage. The running back flip sides, so get it to him a beat earlier.
Third down from the 43 for St. Louis. Wilkins across the middle, and it looked like he had enough. Ball came out from Blake Jackson, and Arlington's got it. Will Clark comes away with it, and the Renegades strip it from Blake Jackson and have the football.
I was talking to Will Clark before the game. And there was this sense of calmness about him. And he's a big dude, about 6'5", but he's got this calm demeanor about him, always around the football. Notice how he comes to the side of the ball, doesn't fall on top of it so it doesn't squirt out. Great job by Will Clark.
Looked like Miles Dorn forced it out, and then Clark fell on it.
And that's a smart thing from a defensive perspective. If offense ever wants to reach that ball out, go and knock it out. You're putting the ball in harm's way. As an offensive player, you don't want to do that in that scenario.
They're not turnovers. They're takeaways.
Absolutely. Taking the ball away.
Sudden change plus territory for Arlington, and it's a reverse. Perez, sideline, Canella! Touchdown! 46 yards with some trickery, and Arlington strikes first.
The best 1-7 team I have ever seen. That was what one of the St. Louis Battlehawks coaches said. And mind you, this team was a championship team last year. So Sal Cannella was on that championship team. And also, they just got their championship rings yesterday. Talk about a boost of confidence to a team searching for a win.
Hope you had Sal Cannella at plus 175 to score a touchdown, because you would cash in with those plus odds via ESPN Bet. If you're new to the UFL, we don't kick extra points. This is going for 2 points from the 5, and they've got it to Isaiah Winstead. And the lead is 8-0 for the Renegades here in the first.
Luis Perez has focus in the pocket. Look at him. He slides to the front and then gets the ball to Winstead. Big time play. But an even bigger time play is this. Essentially, it's almost like a flea flicker, right? Double, pitch it. Right to Sal Cannella. Quinterio Cole is out of position. motion, tries to make the tackle. This Arlington team is playing with a newfound confidence. We talked to their coaches earlier. They said, we haven't put a full game together. Looks like they're putting the first quarter together so far.
Bob Stoops likes it.
Come on, baby, get in. Yes. Sooner pass. Yeah, baby.
Bob Stoops told us this week it is frustrating not winning. Well, they've got the lead, Cole Kublik.
Luis, take us through quickly. When did you know you had that play?
Right when he called it.
The touchdown, yeah.
Yeah, no, right when he called the play, I knew I had it. We repped that since week 1. As a matter of fact, since training camp, we repped that play, and we're all pretty good with it, and Sal just makes a play. So, yeah.
What was the play called?
It's called Sooner Pass. Credit to Coach Stoops.
Sal, when did you know you were going to be open on that?
Man, since last year. That was Coach Stoops' play, man. Always works.
There you go. Thanks, fellas.
Yep.
We're going to have to dig through the tape and see if at any point in 18 years as the head coach at Oklahoma, Sooner Pass ever showed up for Bob Stoops. Darius Shepard out to the 40 with Arlington in front. And Luis Perez said he knew it was a touchdown right when it was called.
I can't believe it. I can't believe. Hey, tell him great call. Tell him I said great call.
What was that?
Great call.
Well, and I love it. You've heard Sal Cannella say, I knew since last year. You heard Luis Perez say, we knew since training camp. There are plays that you practice every single day, every single week. You may not run it until week 9 of the UFL season. And so that's why you have to be on your P's and Q's no matter what the situation is, because you never know when your number is going to be called.
So playoff bound St. Louis trails. Third drive starts with a Jacob Sailors run, and he always does this. Bangs off tacklers, finds some more yardage.
And I don't know if you're noticing this as well, Cole, but I'm seeing this Arlington defense play with a lot more confidence than they did last week. I attribute it to seeing some of those championship rings yesterday. Remember who you are. But that's what I see on this field.
It's an active front. They've been active all season.
Sailors again up the middle, and he's got a first down. Storming.
Wanted to go back to Sooner Pass. You asked the question, Mike. You wanted to go check the Oklahoma tape. Luis Perez just confirmed to me that Baker Mayfield did run it. He said he thought against Kansas. Coach, do we have the team Baker ran that play against? Was it Kansas?
No, we ran it against Iowa State.
There you go. Iowa State, fellas. Baker Mayfield. First play of the game, Coach Stoops tells me.
Wow, first play of the game. Sooner Pass. You got to love it. On first down, a third straight run for Jacob Sailors for a couple of yards. And now Stormy.
And also on that play, guys, Sal Cannella cashes 2 tickets in 1. He hits the over on his receiving yards prop, over 43.5 on that catch, and plus 275 for an anytime touchdown. And we in the betting community love when you see that plus sign in front of a number. Bet $100, win $275 on that TD.
Good odds and good value for a guy who is now leading everybody in the UFL in receiving touchdowns in the always entertaining Sal Cannella. Coming up on the last 2 minutes of the first quarter, and Manny Wilkins on a throwback for Wayne Gallman, drops it in. Gallman's got room down the sideline, lowering the shoulder, coming off a 2-touchdown week. It's 17 for the former Clemson star.
A 2-touchdown week, along with a critical special teams tackle on a fake punt. So he does all the little things well. I talked to his running backs coach earlier. He said that's one thing that's great about Wayne Gallman, his consistency.
Guy was backing up for Anthony Beck's offense this year, and Anthony Beck said to us this week, Wayne Gallman could have easily said, man, I'm backing up in the UFL, but no, he's set an example for his teammates and has been a great special teams player. First down, good handle by Wilkins, shakes Miles Dorn, and now Wilkins takes off toward the sideline. And Manny Wilkins with the athleticism on the catch and the move down the sideline. Hey, week 9 of the UFL schedule continues next on ABC. Undefeated Birmingham against San Antonio. Then tomorrow, 2:30 on Fox. You can watch either DC and Memphis or playoff-bound Michigan against Houston. You got to check your local listings for the matchup in your area. And there's A.J. McCarron, who is listed as quarterback number 2 with his ankle injury suffered a couple of weeks ago. Gallman. Not to do it on the left side. It's a loss of 2, and it's third down. Stood up by Tomasi Lalile.
Yeah, the 6'3", 300-pounder. He had a pick 6 last year for Arlington, a 21-yarder. So he's big, but he can move as well.
You know, just going back to A.J. McCarron, we'll see what it looks like for him next week, and it depends on the outcomes of this game and then that Birmingham-San Antonio game we mentioned next year on ABC.
Though I did see him in warm-ups, and he did look good during warm-ups, throwing it to some of his receivers in the end zone.
Anthony Beck told us he could play this week if it were the championship. Third down, and Wilkins looking for Goldman out of the backfield, making the adjustment and the catch for a first down.
So that's third down, which is critical. Not the best pass, which is also critical. But look at the focus on the wheel route by Wayne Gallman. He focuses, gets that ball back. The wheel route is hard to defend. And Markel Lee is inside linebacker because you have to go around some traffic. And so you have to take a better angle. But what's better than the angle is the adjustment by Wayne Gallman to come back to the ball on a poorly thrown ball by Wilkins.
To end the first quarter here in Week 9 in a 10-week regular season in the United Football League. Anthony Becht has piloted his team to the playoffs, but against maybe the best 1-7 team you have ever seen in football, they trailed after 1 in Arlington, Texas, with some trickery from the Renegades.
If you're living
UFL game, but we're doing something different today. Bruce Gradkowski, one of the brightest minds in this league in terms of offensive coaching. We've got a live microphone on him all day, so we can hear everything he is thinking during play calls and otherwise.
Pylon, have fun with it. Let's go. Make sure we got good celebrations when we score.
He's a former quarterback, but more than anything, he's an encourager. I got a chance to go to their practice a few weeks ago. He has so much juice and energy, no matter who's behind the helm or who's under center. He's a leader. Listen to that. Hey, make sure you get a celebration looking good when you score.
Covering quite literally all of his bases. First and goal. St. Louis, again, you saw, came up empty in the first quarter offensively. Down by 8, and Manny Wilkins rolls out under some pressure, and Wilkins just gets
smart decision. 10, 10, 10. 10, 10, 10. 10, let's go. Trips right, 351, Cardinal pump. Trips right, 351, Cardinal pump.
In the UFL, 8 players on the team can wear headsets, and there's no cutoff point. So Bruce Gradkowski will keep him up here because he can continue talking to his quarterback and the wide receivers who have the headsets in their helmets. Wilkins with some shake, got it away to Darius Shepard, who gets wrangled down inside the 5, and third and goal coming.
Ten. 10. Trough left. H orbit. Toledo hot. H bubble.
Orbit is a type of motion, and Toledo is a previous coaching stop for Bruce Gradkowski. They've got some fun play calls with coaches' kids' names in them. Wilkins a draw up the middle, and he gets buried. Markel Lee and Jamal Carter in on the stop, and it's 4th and goal and a decision for St. Louis.
So we talked about Markel Lee having not the best angle on the wheel route, but how to make up for it is in a play like that. It's 3rd and goal. This is a 4-point or potentially six-point swing in the UFL. So that's why every single inch matters.
Anthony Becht opts for points and summons the former Luke Groza Award winner at Syracuse, Andre Schmidt, from 20 to get the Battlehawks on the board. Arlington's defense with the stop inside the red zone, forcing 3.
Big time stop, big time playing physical on that quarterback.
The right call to protect your home and car. Visit progressive.com. Arlington, the champions in the XFL last year. So yesterday, they got their rings, and they are playing Inspired today.
Man, I saw this a little bit earlier, and I'm looking at those rings, and not only am I getting more confident, but I understand why Arlington is playing more confident. You're the reigning champs until you're not. At the end of the day, and sometimes this game is more mental than it is physical, so being reminded of who you are can be a huge boost to not only your morale, but how you play on the football field.
And you guys asked Bob Stoops about playing spoiler, and he said to us, I've never been in this position, so I don't know how to play spoiler. He said it's not my DNA. Worst record he ever had at Oklahoma was 7-5. That was his first year back in '99. They've got the lead at 1-7 this year, and Jawan Manigo gets shoved out of bounds just past the 30.
And he talked about one of his first years coaching in 1989, where his team had one win, and he remembered the team hadn't won in 3 years. And that one win was the most memorable win, he still says to this day, in his career.
They tore down the goalposts in Manhattan, Kansas, and took them downtown. After Kansas State, led by Bill Snyder, they beat North Texas State. Bob Stoops said to us, heck, we had lost to 1AA Northern Iowa a couple of weeks prior, and he told us, yeah, he would never forget it. A corner route to Frank Hernandez. Bob Stoops' Renegades team here in Week 9 in the UFL leads St. Louis by 5. And this is Davion Smith with a cut. And Davion Smith with a first down for an offense that wanted to run it more. Earlier this year, Bob Stoops picked up in total his 200th career win. He didn't think much of it, but his players did.
And his coaches did.
His OC, Chuck Long. Luis Perez to the air. Look at back shoulder for Isaiah Winstead. Broken up by Chris Payton-Jones.
Just going back to that point, Chuck Long said, man, we were doing it for him. We wanted to win for Coach Stoops. So though Coach Stoops didn't care so much, OC Chuck
11,
Long did.
Right, Hash?
Yes.
All right, let's go trough left, C, hop, ND2 lock, Saturn. Trough left, C, hop, ND2 lock, Saturn.
Chuck Long, the former Heisman runner-up at Iowa, where he was teammates with Bob Stoops. Long served as Oklahoma's quarterbacks coach with Bob Stoops, coaching Josh Heupel. Eventually became the offensive coordinator there. Quick one to the outside, and that's caught by Tyler Vaughns, the former USC wide receiver, who is 6th in the league in receptions. Picked up 7, and it's 3rd down.
One of the most frustrating things about the quick game for a DB or a pass rusher is that you feel like you will never get there.
Triple left A, H bus, 52 Mozart, Z out.
When it's going so quickly?
Yes, because it can be so discouraging. Man, I'm working on my pass rush moves. I can't get to a rhythm. As a DB, you're like, man, they're just getting short passes. Give me some work.
You're saying. Turbo, sit up.
3rd down. Perez got it away, and a great adjustment and catch by Tyler Vaughns for a first down.
Great adjustment by Vaughns. Better adjustment by Luis Perez. I would say even better job by the offensive line. We talked to some of the coaches, and they said, man, this pass rush from St. Louis is going to be a problem. So far, it's been no issue.
Here we go. Specifically that right tackle, Acho, running P to pass the pocket.
Adrian Ely at right tackle. Quick one across the middle, and Deontay Burnett reached out to pluck it. And again, it's quick hitters moving fast. Then Arlington is marching downfield.
And going back to Adrian Ely at right tackle number 59, you see him. Pita Taumoepenu was one of the best pass rushers in the entire UFL and XFL last year. But you never want to be behind the quarterback. There's nothing good behind the quarterback. And so great job by Ely pushing Pita past the QB.
Sit up, 180. What's it hot? Turbo, sit up.
Devin Darrington played at Harvard. Takes it out for 4 yards. 3rd down and 1 coming up for the Renegades.
Cole, going back to Adrian Ely and Pita in that matchup, why is it important for an offensive lineman to try and get a pass rusher like that past the QB?
Well, it's difficult because if he gets around you, he gets that edge, that's a direct line to the quarterback. So you have to time it up perfectly when you do, because we call it a pit move. So as soon as that defensive end, as soon as that edge defender gets upfield on you, you have to time it perfectly to run him past the pocket, or else he's got the edge and he can just bend it, turn upfield, and be able to get to the quarterback.
And that's the point, right? Like, you're saying, okay, don't get behind the quarterback. Well, how do I win? Do I go inside? Well, no, you got to bend him that edge and lean around, or you go speed to power, try and run through him, but you never want to be 2, 3, 4 yards behind him.
Jay Hayes, on the flip side, the Arlington defensive coordinator, told us the worst place you can be as a pass rusher is 5 yards beyond the quarterback. Devin Darrington picked up a first down for Arlington on the move. From the 32, pressure comes. Perez steps up. And Luis Perez showing off the legs a little bit. Pushed out of bounds and a late hit from Chris Garrett. And Luis Perez was begging for a call.
Man, the wagon crashed over there.
Monique, what you got?
Come on, Chris.
Talking to Chris Garrett, 48.
Okay, so she's talking about picking it up right now, or what do you have? Okay. So there is no foul on the play? Okay. I think there is no foul on the play, so we're going to pick the flag up. The result is second down. Okay. There is no foul on the play. The result is second down.
That's head referee Jason Autry, and you could hear the communications with all the officials. And Luis Perez thinks no call is crazy.
Left. We're going 53 rebound. Wide fade. Also ready? Yeah. Flat.
We also have Mike Pereira in the U.S. Army Command Center. Unparalleled transparency in officiating that you get here in the United Football League. Second down against the blitz, and Perez off his back foot, incomplete in the direction of Winstead. Third down. Mike, what is the process and kind of the bar you need to clear for a late hit like that?
Well, the contact, if it starts in bounds, then it's not a foul. And it clearly was started in bounds. And so if the crew didn't pick it up, I was. If it got to me, I would have had it picked up. But you can see there he's clearly in bounds when the contact starts. So it's not one that you have to have a foot down, out of bounds, and then contact in order to have a foul.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, the wagon did not get to the sideline there for Cole Kublik. And so now third down for Arlington, leading in the second quarter. Perez checks it down to Davion Smith out of the backfield, but it's just a yard as immediately Willie Harvey pounced, and it's fourth down, and the field goal unit will come out.
And we're starting to see, going back to that pass rush, some of the pass rush change that's getting towards Luis Perez. No longer are we seeing Peter Talmoapenu run by the quarterback. 2 plays ago, he ran through Adrian Ely. This last play, there was a pass rush game. So they're trying to put pressure up the middle so that Luis Perez cannot escape like he did a few plays ago.
So out comes Jonathan Garibay, who grew up in Mexico until he was 12 years old and then played at Texas Tech. This is from 44 with a flag down and the kick on its way and good. We'll check the marker on the near sideline.
9, so they're going to want to take that penalty. Hey, lined up in the neutral zone.
Could make it a first down.
Offside, defense number 9, lined up in the neutral zone. The 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
Chris Payton-Jones.
What number? Can you confirm the number for me, please?
All right, it's going to be 4th and a half a yard.
Who was it on?
What do you think of points? We're going to go for the first down.
It was in the neutral zone.
Down the line, right?
You got it marked off already?
No.
You got it marked, Monique?
Monique's got it, but she's got it fourth down.
They had it. He said he was 4th and 5.
What's it down a distance? Can we look?
First down results.
Look at it on the all 22.
Yeah, it's going to be 4th and it's going to be 4th and.
So a 5-yard penalty. It had been
so you have the half yard short. So, okay, so let's ask them if they want to take it or not.
Was the kick good?
Yes, the kick was good.
Okay, so then
we'll verify that he wants to take this.
It's 4.5. It's their chance. It's not here. Here we had. That's the
that is correct.
So you're saying
that's what he's saying. I think
that's where the ball was on the other side of the tape.
So 4th and a half, or does he want the points?
Yes, 4th down and a half.
4th down and a half.
No,
okay.
No, he's not. I think he wants. Does he want to take the points off the board?
Penalty left at 4th down with a half yard to go to the line of games. Arlington is elected to enforce it. 4th down.
Okay, Jason.
Yeah, go ahead,
Mayday here. Hold on.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going to look at where the ball was snapped from. Just hold on a second.
Previous play is under video review for the location of the snap.
So it's the 26.5.
We're just going to verify this.
And he's got to go to the 22, right?
Hey, Jim.
Okay, so here's the deal. The ball was snapped from the 26.5. All right.
Okay.
So he had to get to the 22, which is 4.5 yards. So the DOF is going to give him a first down.
So the ball should be on the 21.5 yard line.
That's correct. 21.5 yard line, which would be a first down.
Okay.
Now you're going to see from him what he wants.
It's a first down. He wants it.
Beyond the line to gain. It'd be first down Arlington.
That's how I was looking at it, too. I was
Bob Stoops, 63 years young. He has seen a lot of football. He knows 4th down and 4.5 yards when he sees it.
And he's confident in what he sees and confident he had his offense go back out even though it looked like 4th and 1.
But he was right, and he does get a first down, and a costly St. Louis penalty keeps this drive alive. And on a draw to Davion Smith, he gets stood up right at the line of scrimmage by Tautala Pesafea out of Arizona State. All right, so Mike Pereira said that the ball was snapped at the 26.5. And that's what we see as well there. So you tack on 5 yards. You only needed to get to the 22. So it is a first down.
And it's interesting because Arlington had a penalty like this last week. They were offsides on a field goal that gave their opponent a first down. And so those silly mistakes are the difference between winning and losing football.
Luis Perez finds Davion Smith out of the backfield. And Smith tried to wiggle away from Drayvon Askew-Henry. Got a couple, picks up 5, and it's 3rd down.
Love Mike Rose's effort on this defense. We've talked to their coaching staff a few times. He's gone back to how Mike Rose is the quarterback of this defense, and everyone around him plays better when he's in the game.
Out of Iowa State, former Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year who was in camp with the Dolphins, and Anthony Beck thinks he's headed back to the NFL. 3rd down and 7. Perez pumps, steps up, and hung onto the football. It's a loss of a couple as Carson Wells, the former Colorado Buffalo, got to him. 4th down, and we will repeat on a field goal try.
And it's going back to, look at the pass rush. Look at number 7, right through the middle. Carson Wells coming around. You see everybody on the defensive line pressing into the pocket, not allowing the quarterback to step up. And so that's what the adjustments that have to be made. You're saying, okay, I went by the quarterback in the first quarter. Second quarter, let me go right through this offensive lineman. Next quarter, I might go on an inside move to try and get a win.
Had been a 44-yard try. This is from 38 for Jonathan Garibay. And in the end, Bob Stoops and Arlington end up with their 3 points. 11-3 is the lead for the Renegades against playoff-bound St. Louis.
The slogan this year for your team has been details matter. What's your evaluation of the details so far?
They don't matter yet for our team. We got to find a way. We got to drop punt. We got to fumble. We're lined up in a neutral zone on the field goal. We got to kind of pick ourselves up a little flat to start this game. We got to BYOJ, bring our own juice right now because we don't have a lot of it. In this environment, we got to find a way to take control of the football game. Holding the field goals is good by the defense. Our offense had a nice drive last series. Let's see if we can put another one together.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Stormy.
BYOJ, gents.
All right, we did. Anthony Beck doesn't think his team has to this point so far. And again, playing without A.J. McCarron, who is an MVP candidate in this league. 2-time national champion, is out with an ankle injury suffered a couple of weeks ago for a St. Louis team that has clinched a playoff spot, but is now trying to host in the first round of the playoffs. And they can do that with a win today. And if San Antonio loses to undefeated Birmingham, which is coming up. Here's Darius Shepard with the seam upfield, and Darius Shepard is wrapped up at the 50, and a strong gain for the Battlehawks. Adrian Martinez is probably the favorite for MVP for a Birmingham team that has gone more than a calendar year since its last loss. Former Nebraska and Kansas State quarterback. Meanwhile, Anthony McFarland, who was with the Steelers this year, former Maryland Terp, he's back from a shoulder injury. And again, that is coming up next on ABC.
And Anthony McFarland had some huge plays last week against this Arlington defense. They remember that they're playing a lot differently now.
Midfield, and Manny Wilkins gives it to Jacob Sailors. Breaks a tackle, and Sailors tripped up inside the 15. A saving tackle from Stevie Jones after 39 for Sailors.
And that's that big playability that you get from Jacob Sailors. Let's look at this left guard right here, Steven Gonzalez. He's going to be right there on the middle of your screen. Take that one block down and look at that gap and that hole that it creates for Sailors. Makes it harder on the safeties to be able to tackle because that gap is so wide.
So the Battlehawks in business in the red zone, down by 8. Sailors up the middle, finds maybe a yard.
So that's one of the things you and I talked about with this Arlington defense. There just seems to be spurts of time that they're just not in the right place, not filling the proper gaps, not replacing the gaps when they have some sort of a stunt called. Feels like similar on that last Jacob Sailors run.
Correct. There's certain times, halves of games, you'll see this is an elite defense. Other halves, you'll say this is one of the worst defenses. So you want that consistency from the front and the coverage.
Sailors out of the backfield. Sailors, touchdown! Jacob Sailors does it all and punches it in with St. Louis's first touchdown today.
BYOJ, bring your own juice. I was talking to Kyle Caskey, who's the running backs coach for St. Louis. He said with Jacob Sailors specifically, he doesn't talk much, but when he gets on that football field, he shows his personality. He's doing it week in and week out. Another big score right here.
He was minus 160 to score a touchdown because that's commonplace for him. That is a league best 7th total touchdown for Jacob Sailors, who was on the Falcons practice squad this year, but got waived in January due to injury. Battlehawks elect to go for 2 points from the 5-yard line. You can go for 1, 2, or 3 here in the UFL. Option. Goldman a cut, lost the football. Picked up by Arlington, and they get a stop and still have the lead. Joe Powell plucked it on some trouble from Wade Gallman after the Sailors score.
The message was heard loud and clear from Jacob Sailors. We need some juice. He said, I'll bring it myself. Had a big-time run. Now gets his ball out to the flat. He was with the Falcons last year. He's had NFL experience. He knows how to find the end zone, and he knows how to bring the juice.
Hell of a job. That's a great series, man. Way to hit it, man.
So Anthony Beck liked what he saw from Jacob Sailors trying to pick up this offense, which again, for a second straight week, is without A.J. McCarron, one of the best players in this league and one of the faces. We were talking with Anthony Beck this week, and he told us that if this were the championship game, A.J. McCarron would be out there with that injured ankle. He said to us, though, would he be able to make it through the entire game? I don't know. And Anthony Beck said if we win this game and if San Antonio loses, that would mean that week 10, final week of the regular season against San Antonio, wouldn't matter much. Home field would be clinched for St. Louis. And so in that case, the plan would be A.J. McCarron would probably play 2 series a quarter just to get some reps headed toward the playoffs.
So he's not rusty going into that playoff matchup versus San Antonio. Because remember, we talked about if they win, they get home field, but also home field at the championship game.
Juwan Manigo with a muff. He recovers at the 20, fights for 4 more yards. Storming.
Jacob Sailors, Anthony Beck said, BYOJ, bring your own juice. You have the big burst and then the scoring play. How much did your team need that juice in that moment?
You know,
I think we would have been fine without it, but any chance I get to help this team get going, you know, that's my job. That's why they brought me here. So, you know, I'm just happy to fulfill my role.
You have been an end zone magnet for weeks. What's changed about your game since that early season inactive?
You know, my mindset's been the same all the way throughout. You know, leave no doubt, do the best I can, help this team, you know, impact each game the best I can. And that's about it.
Keep it going.
Thank you.
Mike.
8 touchdowns, Stormy, to lead the league, but it's Arlington still ahead by 2 with the football inside of 4 minutes to go until halftime. Week 10 UFL schedule. Again, final week of the regular season. Saturday, Michigan and Birmingham on ESPN in a playoff preview. Then San Antonio and St. Louis at 4 on Fox. Sunday of next weekend, noon on ABC, Arlington and DC. And then at 7 Eastern on Fox, Houston and Memphis. With Sam Acho, Cole Kublik, and Stormy Bonantoni, and our entire crew behind the scenes, Mike Monaco with you from Choctaw Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Luis Perez toward the sideline, drops it in the bucket for Deontay Burnett and a first down.
Don't be surprised when you see Luis Perez make elite level throws like this. This is what he's done all season long. He talked about wanting to be a winner. He said NFL teams want winners. Well, in college, he was a Harlan Hill Trophy Award winner, a D2 national championship winner. Even in bowling, he wins multiple perfect games. And so he wants to win on this field to get back to the NFL.
Davion Smith on the ground on first down. Yeah, Luis Perez told us earlier this year, I still think I can do it and get to the NFL. And he told us this season, one more shot to get back to the NFL where he has been before, but he's never played in a regular season game.
He wants a real opportunity. His wife and kids are in California. He's doing this UFL thing, trying to get back to the NFL for that dream. He's friends with Kurt Warner. He talked about, man, if he's an example, I could do the same thing. Drew Brees as well as a mentor. So he understands winning. Now he wants to get it to that next level.
Devin Darrington tried to spin away and couldn't. Third down. Yeah, think about that for Luis Perez. He has thrown and lifted alongside Drew Brees, has stayed over at Kurt Warner's house. His team has the lead, but Jacob Sailors and St. Louis trying to forge a comeback. 2-minute warning. Bob Stoops' Arlington Renegades team closed as 2-and-a-hook dogs. They're now favored on the live line by 1.5, and they've got the lead by 2. The under is looking promising, and Luis Perez trying to lead a 2-minute drill ahead of halftime for Arlington against playoff-bound St. Louis here in the UFL.
Hey, you got to open the ball, okay? I'm going to send you and bring it back in. Hey, Dixie left. We're going 62, search at smash. On turbo, ready? Hurry up, let's go.
And 3rd and 6, it's that 3rd and intermediate. And so smash route, you're going to see a route somewhat over the ball at that 6-7 yard route, but also that corner at the top of the screen.
Davion Smith saddles up beside Luis Perez. 4-man rush to the sideline, and Winstead got the feet in bounds for a first down.
I told you, don't be surprised by some of these elite level throws. Luis Perez, record aside, he's leading the UFL in many, if not most, passing categories. Right over the outstretched defender, Willie Harvey at Iowa State. As a defender, you work on routes like that. Okay, he's not going to get over my arm. All of a sudden, he does. That's elite level play by Luis Perez.
Sit up, 180. Where's the hug?
All 3 timeouts, $1:54 to go, and Perez across the middle to Deontay Burnett. Very close to the sticks on a solid pickup for Burnett, who appears to be just shy in 2nd down.
You don't want to rush at this point. It's inside of 2 minutes. UFL rules. The clock will stop on a first down.
62.
Until the ball gets reset.
Here we go.
So take your time.
Turbo, sit up.
Perez, sideline. Touchdown! Contested catch, Isaiah Winstead from 27 yards out.
Next man up is It's not just the mentality.
You knew you had it the whole time?
Yeah. Throw it to me, it's gonna happen.
Throw it to me, it's gonna happen.
Man, that's the reality. Like Isaiah Winstead, I don't care about next man up. Put me in, coach. Throw it to me, I'll make it happen. Missed jam by Chris Payton-Jones. You saw that missed reroute. That's how you get behind the defender, and then eyes focus on that ball. Great job, Isaiah Winstead.
About 2/3 of the time, teams are going for 2 points from the 5. Again, no kicks. And Holton Ahlers, a running threat, comes in for Perez. Runs the option. A reverse. Winstead again for 2 more. Have a day, Isaiah Winstead. Cole might have to get right back out there and talk to him again.
Isaiah Winstead has stepped up. So Holton Ahlers, a running threat. You think it's going to be that speed option. Great play call by Chuck Law in the reverse. Great blocking on the outside by Devion Smith. Just having body presence. Walk in 2-point conversion. Then going to that touchdown for Isaiah Winstead. Chris Payton-Jones tries to reroute him. He's unable to reroute him. Great ball.
Hey, I told you I was coming to you.
So Luis Perez told Isaiah Winstead that, and Winstead made the catch. And then Winstead, from his old college quarterback at East Carolina, took the flip from Holton Ahlers to add on 2 more, and everything is coming up. Big game. Bob Stoops here in Arlington against the Battlehawks at 6-2, barreling toward the postseason.
Reality or not, confidence is everything. And even when we talked to Bob Stoops, there was no doubt in his voice. He said, I'm not used to losing. I don't know what this is like, so I couldn't tell you how to play spoiler. But there's still this level of confidence from this week, even earlier on the field talking to him. He knows how to win. That's how you can get 200 wins at all levels of football.
18 years as the head coach at Oklahoma, including, of course, the 2000 national championship season. Now his 3rd season coaching an Arlington football team, this year in the United Football League. 10-point lead, Darius Shepard streaks upfield, broke a tackle. And Shepard past the 40. Cole Kublik again.
Well, we heard from Isaiah after the touchdown. I tried to grab you real quick there. When you heard the play call and knew you were going to get the reverse again, what was going through your mind?
I'm going to score. I'm going to score again. I'm going to get a 2-point conversion.
The bad part was you wanted to keep the football. They wouldn't give it to you.
Yeah, I wanted to give it to my son in the stands.
Oh, where is it? Let's give him a shout out.
He's somewhere in there. What up, son? He only won, though.
All right, we'll get him the football. Here's the helmet, by the way. You're going to need that next time out.
Most definitely. I appreciate y'all.
Cole, you didn't want to put that on?
I don't think it's going to fit me, to be honest with you.
So St. Louis is down by 10, and Wayne Gallman on a 1st down keeps it on the ground with more than a minute to go. Battlehawks have all 3 timeouts in pretty good field position here.
We see Wayne Gallman, looks like he's walking off the field gingerly. Backup quarterback. You've been in the situation mentally, but have you been in it physically? 2-minute drill, down by 10, gotta score, smart decisions.
Manny Wilkins finds Darius Shepard. Shepard with some space to the 35. 45 seconds to go. And all the timeouts still at the disposal of Anthony Becht. They roll the clock after spotting the ball after the 1st down inside of 2 minutes. Wilkins steps up, directs, keeps it himself, and Wilkins lowers the shoulder, finishing a hit on a Ajane Harris with 30 seconds to go.
And Ajane wants that action too. Ajane Harris had 5 picks last year, XFL leader. He's not necessarily spying, but he knows the quarterback's going to run. He wants some action.
That ain't nothing, says Ajane Harris. Second start for Manny Wilkins. You see 8 for 10. 29 yards on the ground after 79 for him rushing last week in his 1st start for the injured A.J. McCarron. Across the middle, it's Darius Shepard. Made a man miss. Shepard to the 5. 21 seconds to go, and St. Louis trying to cut this to a one-score game.
You got Cheetah, maybe? Oh. That's what I'm saying. Without, so get the... Okay, he's good. Okay.
Well, this is make it take it for St. Louis because they will get the football to begin the second half as well.
The last 4 minutes of the first half, the first 4 minutes of the second half, those are critical times for momentum and critical times for confidence for teams. If you can get out of this half with a score, all of a sudden it's a one-score game. Now you get the ball back. Now all of a sudden you can have the lead. So it'll erase everything bad that you did in the first part of the game.
Come on, Jacob.
It's Jacob Saylor's the running back. Wilkins lofts it. Out of bounds, incomplete. Blake Jackson and Hakeem Butler were in the vicinity. Second and goal with 15 seconds to go.
And that'll give you about 2 plays. You know, Manny Wilkins loves to use his legs. That play took about 6 seconds. Give you 2, maybe 3 plays with that extra timeout that you have.
10. Let's go. Empty left, Cardinal pump. Empty left, 50, Cardinal pump. Six seconds. Yeah, we're all right.
Just got the snap off. Wilkins ducked away from trouble. Wilkins up there with a dive. And they're spotting him short and out of bounds at the 3. Devontae Lambert was there on the edge.
So Donald Payne misses on Manny Wilkins. Hard to tackle him. Hard to tackle. You're a free runner. On the inside, full speed, trying to get the quarterback out of bounds. That kind of effort can help people win games.
All right, so you had said it 2 plays. You've got 9 seconds here on 3rd down and goal, trying to punch this in and not settle for 3.
Sure, you can run it, you can pass it. You have all 3 timeouts, so there's no rush.
The foot was down out of bounds, Jason, at the 3. But he's extended the ball to the 1, so we need to put the ball at the 1-yard line.
So it'll be 3rd goal from the 1.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. After review, the runner stepped out of bounds with the foot at the 3-yard line. However, the ball was at the 1-yard line. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 1.
So check that. Anthony Beck does not use his second timeout. Mike Pereira in the U.S. Army Command Center with the ability to do things like that, to very quickly jump in and say, hey, yes, the foot was out at the 3, but the ball, as you see here, should be at the 1.
Correct. And that foot down, you can see that outside foot is right down, but the ball is extended. So great job by Mike Pereira in the U.S. Army Command Center. But even better job just going back to Devontae Lambert, the defensive tackle, number 6, 6'2", 282 out of Auburn. Full speed sprint to keep Manny Wilkins out of the end zone.
Yeah, the big dog getting after it. A guy who missed 4 weeks this year with a calf injury. One of the leaders on the Arlington defense. Can St. Louis get 6? Down by 10. Headed toward halftime. Jacob Saylor's up the middle, squirting through. And he's marked short. St. Louis insists it has a touchdown, but Jacob Saylor's is marked down inside the 1 with 2 seconds to go.
And all score or no scoring plays are reviewed in the U.S. Army Command Center.
Is there a definitive look there? I don't know.
Yeah, we're in a timeout, Mayday.
There's a timeout anyways, but we're going to... Jason, did you hear me? We're going to look at this.
Say that again, Mayday.
We're going to look at this to see if it's a touchdown.
Okay, good. We're at timeout.
Yeah.
So Mike Pereira in the U.S. Army Command Center.
The best shot is here, but the problem is the ball. You can't see the ball. I mean, the ball's up there in his left hand. I feel like I have a sense that he gets there, but I just can't prove it. See, it's really not clear It's not clear here because here you don't see the ball. You don't see the ball here. The shin's up. The shin's up. But I can't see where the ball is, and that's my best shot. So, Jason, we looked at all the angles that we have, and we're going to leave it short.
Yes, sir.
We're going to leave it short.
So we're just going to let it stand? Is that
That's
what we're going to
say?
Gotcha.
Let it stand short.
A timeout for St. Louis.
That's correct.
We still had a timeout. That's correct. I got you. After video review, the ruling in the field stands. The runner was short of the goal line. It's 4th down. The clock will start on the snap.
So Mike Pereira had the same intuitions that fans have. He thinks it's a touchdown, but he can't prove it. Now, St. Louis is going to go for it here and not take the 3. Are you okay with that?
You already did. That's why we stopped. So you're good. You had to stop.
I don't love it.
Okay.
I don't love it because if you don't make it, it's not going to be looking good for you.
Anthony Becht did take his second timeout. Now they're showing 4 seconds on the clock. And they're going to try to punch this in from inside the 1. Hakeem Butler, or rather, Kamari Averett and Jake Sutherland behind for a tush-push for Manny Wilkins. Waiting on a signal. There it is. It's a touchdown. On 4th and goal, a tush-push, St. Louis style.
No risk it, no biscuit. So went for the risk on this one with Manny Wilkins at quarterback. It proved to pay off. That's that tush push you talked about. Look at Kamari Averett and Jake Sutherland. 2 big, strong tight ends making sure their quarterback gets in the end zone.
No team in the UFL has attempted or converted offensively more 4th downs than St. Louis. So they stuck to their guns. They get the touchdown. They're down by 4, and they will go for 2 points from the 5. And again, we remind you, they're getting the football out of halftime as well.
That swing you talked about.
Defense, if they were to take it away like last time, they could have 2 points at stake here as well. Wilkins to throw, and a screen is incomplete for Sailors. So a couple of big stops from Arlington on the extra point bids, and the Renegades, because of that, have a 4-point lead at halftime.
Big-time conversion and big-time gutsy play call by Bruce Gronkowski. So you get this. Unfortunately, you don't get the 2-point conversion, but that touchdown was major. Why? Because it brings you back into the game. You've played probably your worst football of the entire season. Go to the locker room and say, hey, it's a 4-point game. They gave it their best. We gave it our worst. Let's go out and win it. That's a mentality for St. Louis.
So it is halftime with Arlington in front. The UFL all season has been partnered with the U.S. Army. They collaborate on leadership development initiatives and community engagement. Such a great part of this league as well. And for more on that, down to Stormy Bonantoni.
Yeah, we talk so much in this game about the importance of team. No more important team than our armed forces. And I have Sergeant First Class Salumba here with me. You've been in the Army for 19 years. You are based here in Dallas. What can you share with us about your journey?
Well, I love my journey coming to the Army. So a quick story about me. My parents migrated here when I was 12. I graduated high school. I actually graduated high school in the city of Dallas. Mainly Harlem High School was my high school that I graduated from. From there, I enlisted in the Army in 2004. After that, I've been in the Army since, and I love it. I love every minute of it. And I'm gonna continue serving until my body's done. Till Uncle Sam kicks me out.
What can you share about your specific role?
My specific role in the Army is I'm an equal opportunity advisor. So I mainly advise my commander leadership on any type of discrimination factor in the organization. Ensure that everyone that works out, to make sure that there's no type of discrimination factoring against them. Toxic-free environment and just a friendly environment.
Thank you so much for your time. We so appreciate you.
Thank you.
Mike, back to you.
Amen, Stormy. Thank you to all those who serve, and especially on this Memorial Day weekend. Hey, a very special initiative here in Arlington this weekend as well. Hats off to heroes. We had a special Jimi Hendrix-themed national anthem here at Choctaw Stadium, getting set for this one in Week 9 in the UFL. Great partnership between the U.S. Army and the United Football League. Dwayne Johnson and Danny Garcia have spoken so glowingly of what that has meant to this league. And a great scene and great initiative here before the game today. Well, with the United Football League, you get football year-round. And we're getting closer to college football. We're, what, 3 months away? And it's going to look different this year with expansion. 12-team playoff is on the way. 4 highest-ranked conference champs, seeded 1 through 4, will get that first round bye as well. And look, college football right now, there is a lot happening to catch you up on 3 months away from the start of the season. Welcome back to the UFL, presented by the U.S. Army. And today's first half stats brought to you by Progressive. Start number 2 for Manny Wilkins for an injured A.J. McCarron. And how about Luis Perez with some big numbers?
Perez has been outstanding, but he's been outstanding all season long, even going back to last year when he got traded from Las Vegas to Arlington and led them to a championship game. He's taking his game to a different level.
Connected with Sal Cannella on the trick play. Let's check in with Cole Kublik.
I tell you guys, the message in that Renegades locker room was tackling. And it sounds simple, it sounds easy. Acho can speak to it a little bit further, but that defensive staff was harping on getting ball carriers to the ground. He said it's a mindset. Really is what I heard. Bill Sheridan, the linebackers coach, was just hammering almost each and every defender in that locker room. Get your mind right. Understand how to get ball carriers to the ground. We do that, we're going to be fine. We're going to win this football game.
Yeah, tackling is definitely a mindset. If you look in different defensive meeting rooms, they'll have the description of what a loaf is. Usually a loaf meaning you're not running to the ball. But sometimes a loaf means turning down a hit. So missed tackles, turning down an opportunity to go and get the offensive player down. And so the mentality of tackling has to change for this defense.
Darius Shepard takes it out for St. Louis, who gets the football to begin the second half, trailing by 4 against Arlington.
I'll never forget Takeo Spikes, who was on the team with me at Auburn, and we used to go one-on-one, and I was on the scout team. I mean, he used to crush me every day. But he used to talk about tackling, and he said, the thing about tackling is you can have all these techniques, all these fundamentals. It's the desire of who wants to stay up and who wants to get the other person to the ground.
And you're right. You're right. It's the desire, but also it's the mentality. I remember when I was with Vic Fangio in Chicago, every night before games, we would watch about 30 or 45 minutes of just tackling tape to get that mentality ready for us.
Jacob Sailors on the ground, eventually tackled by Delonte Hood. And Sam, you had asked Bob Stoops about the tackling, and he said it was really poor last week. You asked how to clean it up, and Bob Stoops was really honest. He said at this point in the season, you're not gonna get it short up.
You're in week 9. It's not like you can reinvent the wheel. That's when the mentality piece has to come in of saying, I have to get this guy on the ground. If it's not me, I'm gonna have someone else running to the ball, full speed, full effort, no change of speed, so we can get the player down.
Good, sure-handed Delonte Hood tackle again. So it's 3rd down and a half yard to begin this 3rd quarter. Manny Wilkins leading this offense, gives it off to Sailors, trying to spin free, and he does for a first down. That's what you get from Jacob Sailors. His offensive coordinator, Bruce Gradkowski, said to us, he just finds the hidden yards. First point of contact is not where he's going to end that play.
I wanted this one on the ball.
There's a flinch from Steven Gonzalez.
Ball start, offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
And if you're wondering, well, hey, the defense jumped first. Why is Steven Gonzalez getting called for that? Well, the defender that jumped, Vic Beasley, he's an edge player, and he got back in time. So it would have to been the left tackle, Jared Jones-Smith, who would have to move in reaction to Vic Beasley. So it can't be someone else all the way down the line. That encroachment for the defense would have had to been from the player. The offensive player would have to react for it to be on the defense.
Yeah, so it was not the left tackle, but the left guard. So first down and 15. And Manny Wilkins finds finds Hakeem Butler, who lunges out toward the 50. And it's been a quiet game so far for Hakeem Butler. That's his first touch. An MVP candidate who has been the most productive wide receiver in the league.
And he took a couple big shots last week. But so when you have a player of the caliber of Hakeem Butler, a 6'6" receiver, 4th-round pick to the Arizona Cardinals, you know his talent level and his skill level. Led the XFL in touchdowns last year. You have to keep eyes on him at all times.
First 4 yards of that over-under total. They air it out for Stephen Mitchell. Was he inbounds? Yes, he was. Stephen Mitchell to the 10. Now you wonder if Arlington might want to look at this.
41-yard gain. Arlington not only can look at it, they can also challenge it. That's that super challenge. The ball looked to me as if it were bobbled, and so if it were bobbled, then you could go and say, I want to challenge it, not a catch.
St. Louis hurries things up, and they get the snap off with Jacob Sailors up the middle, goes spinning on a 1st-and-goal carry of 3 yards into the arms of Markel Lee.
And going back, it actually looked like one hand and it looks like a bobble, but that inside toe may have just tapped down before he was out of bounds.
Yeah, did he drag the right toe to get that second foot and reestablish both feet after the bobble?
Correct. UFL rules has to be both feet and possession.
We'll never know. 2nd down and goal. Wilkins under some pressure, dancing away. Wilkins is in with a touchdown. And a flourish at the end as Manny Wilkins puts St. Louis in front.
A flourish not only at the end, but also at the beginning. Beginning of the second half, they score. End of the first half, they score. Manny Wilkins out of Novato, California, using his legs, making defenders miss, getting into the end zone. He's been through an unbelievable journey to overcome so much just to get to this moment, and now he's making the most of every single snap.
Lost his father at a very young age, and then again went 5+ years between starts. Wayne Gallman spins and ends up short on a 1-point attempt as St. Louis tried to make the lead 3. Manny Wilkins is seizing his moment. Second start for an injured A.J. McCarron, and he is delighting his offensive coordinator. He know the 4 playoff teams, and that includes St. Louis, who now has the lead against Arlington for the first time today. Battlehawks went punt, fumble on their first 2 possessions and now have scored on 4 straight. Field goal and then 3 straight touchdowns. And Manny Wilkins, their quarterback, has played a part in all 3. 2 on the ground and 1 through the air. Here's Juan Manigo. Played in Chihuahua, Mexico the last couple of years, and Manigo is stopped shy of the 25 to Stormy Bonatoni.
Manny, it's such a big difference going from years essentially of mental reps to being out here on the field. What did you get out of last week to bring this kind of performance out of you today?
Really, I'm just trying to be poised in the pocket, take control of the game, just taking what the defense gives us, you know, doing the little things right. I think once you do the little things right, all the other plays will kind of just come to you naturally.
On that touchdown, can you take us through what you saw to skirt the defense the way you did?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just seen a vacated zone open up to my left side, and I seen the one-on-one with me, and I think it was a linebacker out there, so I just, in my mind, I know I'll never get tackled by the first guy.
Also, that big play to Stephen Mitchell, you told me he's one of your best friends on the team. How nice is that connection?
Man, it's major. Stevie's had a hell of a journey, and for him to just come in here and make some things happen, you know, I think it's really big for him. He's a hell of a player, and we got to keep getting him right.
Thanks, Manny.
Thank you, guys.
Poised at all times as Davion Smith starts out on the ground for about 4 yards to begin this drive for Arlington.
Yeah, and I love how he said we got to keep on getting him the rock, but now he gets the chance to get one of his best friends the rock. And so that's on one side of the ball. On the other side, Luis Perez is one of the most poised players on the field. How do you come back now?
Perez, sideline, and he's got Isaiah Winstead. Broke the initial tackle, takes it out just shy of the 50. And how about the day for Isaiah Winstead, undrafted out of ECU?
Undrafted, but he's making the most out of his opportunity. Great job on the out route. Doesn't go out of bounds. That's Chris Payton-Jones again. It's the guy who missed that reroute on him, missed the jam on him earlier for the big play. So he's liking his matchup early in this game and late.
No, sorry, Duff. Hey, Duff. Hey,
you see the day for Winstead, who spent 6 years at 3 different colleges. The day after the draft last year, he tweeted a highlight video, said he had no mini camp invite or undrafted deal. All of a sudden, that tweet went viral, and the attention grew. Nothing doing on the ground for Smith, second down.
And sometimes that attention grows, but you need to put it on tape. And that's what Isaiah Winstead is doing. Opportunity or not, I want to put it on tape. So that when NFL scouts are watching, they're watching this film, and they're going to say, man, we got to get this guy at least an opportunity for a workout or maybe to come for training camp because I've seen it on film.
Get up quick. Turtle, sit up.
Perez got hit as he threw, and no signal yet. It's scooped up by St. Louis, and now we get whistles as St. Louis went off to the races with Chris Payton-Jones.
And Cole, I don't know if y'all think about this, but as a defender, anytime that ball's on the ground, we always think you have to immediately scoop it because you never know if it could be incomplete.
It always feels like defensive players are ahead of the game on that because a lot of offensive guys, you even see receivers, like a ball come out or it looks like it might be a catch and a drop and they're just going to sit there and stare at it. But most of the time, defenders, they're going to snag that thing and try to go score.
And part of the reason why is that there has to be an immediate recovery. If it is, in fact, a fumble, Dean Blandino, Mike Pereira are going to look for immediate recovery.
In the immediate continuing action, a clear recovery. Third down, Sal Cannella broke a tackle with a juke, and Sal Cannella's got a first down. The individual effort from the former Auburn Tiger for 13 yards.
And the individual intelligence. So, yes, it's effort. Sal Cannella gets behind that zone, but then watch how he gets vertical right here. He gets vertical. He needed 4 more yards. He got 5. He could have ran sideways, tried to run around, but he's smart enough to get vertical when it's necessary.
Trayvon Askew Henry is down injured, cousin of Terrell Revis. We'll check on him when we come back to Texas. This presentation of the UFL will continue after these messages and a word from our ABC stations. St. Louis with a win and with a San Antonio loss against undefeated Birmingham. Coming up next right here on ABC, St. Louis would get home field in the first round. And those are the Louis Vuitton, it would appear, cleats of Sal Cannella, who learned to sew his own clothes when he was young. He's got it, the clothing line, so he loves it.
And he's right now as he's on the field making big-time plays like we just saw.
A little than those Cole Kubelic's white kicks right next to him.
Pistol, tab right, pass Cole 3, F, Sailor, Z, climb, X.
Sal Cannella, one of the real interesting guys.
Yeah, that's fine,
in this league.
You're saying.
Sal, how do we come up with the Louis V cleats?
I mean, man, you've seen Marvin Harrison do it.
Gotta go.
You know, I had a little inspiration from him and whatnot, and, you know, I had a little artist put it together. It sounds cool. Go live down?
Are you saying you're Marvin Harrison, basically?
No, I am Sal.
Sal,
but you do have the clothing line going, though, so how's that going?
Hey, it's going great, man. You know, like any business, ups and downs, man. We're going on to year 4 right now, so, hey, man, just trying to express myself through another avenue.
Duff left.
There you go. Thanks, Sal.
Z smoke, Aspen. Also ready. Look for signals. No. Yes. Get out quick. Here we go. Sit up. 80.
Good stuff from Sal Cannella. 2-point St. Louis lead. Second down to 10 for Luis Perez. Across the middle, Davion Smith out of the backfield, met immediately at the 34 after 5 yards, and now third down coming.
And this is a critical third down. Third and it looks like 5. You're in field goal range, which should get you a lead, but you don't want field goals right now. You know that this St. Louis offense has found ways to score.
29,
you need a first down, turn to a touchdown.
Dixie right, 51 shock. F choice, X comeback. Also ready. Go. Hold on. No. Here we go.
Third down and 5.
Turtle, sit up.
Perez, quick one. Sal Cannella reaching for the sticks, and looks like he might be marked short there. Wrapped up by Willie Harvey. Intelligence last time, but Cannella might be short here.
And it's interesting, he actually was in front of that first down marker, so if you talk about pull forward progress, he would have it, but it's not. He actually goes backwards without being tackled before being tackled.
And St. Louis burns a timeout before 4th and 1.
Timeout, St. Louis, prior to the snap.
And I love the aggressiveness by Arlington. So we've talked to their coaches earlier this week that said, man, we've struggled on 4th and short, 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. Aggressive call causes the timeout to be used by St. Louis.
And you wonder if Mike Pereira might chime in the U.S. Army Command Center on that spot and where Sal Cannella was. And there we go. I'll call that what, about a foot?
About a foot, a few inches short.
Hey, we're going on the quick, all right, boys? Wait for us, we're rolling with them. We're going, hey, on the quick. Strong right hip. Spider 2, V snag. On the quick, ready? Go.
Strong right hip, V snag. On the quick. A roll, and Seth Green's got it. Off to the races. And Green's bucked out of bounds. A 4th down pickup to Seth Green to set up 1st and goal.
And that's the second aggressive play call by offensive coordinator Chuck Long, going to a tight end in a critical situation. 4th and short, you think it's going to be a run. We heard Bob Stoops earlier in the week say, man, hard for us to get a stop.
Indy 3, right slider. On top, ready?
Gotta go! Hurry up! Seth Green played in Minnesota for P.J. Fleck and at Houston. 29 yards, and now out of the backfield, he's got it again! Touchdown, and his first of the season puts Arlington back in front.
If at first you don't succeed, go back to Seth Green one more time. Injury earlier, we saw one of the receivers go down, so not only have other receivers stepped up like Isaiah Winstead, but now Seth Green has stepped up. That's that motion that's somewhat hard to stop going across the ball. You have to have your eyes ready as a defender. Eyes were late. Green is open.
Again, no kicks on extra points in the UFL, where you can go for 1 from the 2, 2 from the 5, or 3 from the 10. League-wide conversion rate is 41%. Arlington this year, 9 for 16 coming in, going for 2. Green's got it again. The lead is 6 for the Renegades. The over hits as well, with still 6:28 to go in the 3rd.
We talked to Chuck Long earlier about the relationship between Sal Cannella, one of the tight ends, and Luis Perez, and he said it's not necessarily Sal Cannella. I want Luis to go to whoever's open. Well, you see Seth Green right here. It looks like somewhat of a nod route. Step outside and go back vertical, hard for an inside linebacker to defend unless you're planning for it, unless you know what's going to come. Green with back-to-back-to-back receptions.
Cole.
Got Seth Green tight end. Take me through the short yardage play first. What was the call and how were you able to get open?
You know, in 13, we've been showing tendencies. OC, quarterback made a great call. Switch it up. Got it quick. Defense had to react. We had space. Got it, and then just have to convert, keep the momentum.
Touchdown splitter, so you're coming flat across that line of scrimmage. Did you guys notice maybe the backers are playing it the wrong way?
Yeah, you know, we've been running that play all game, all year, so just got to keep the defense honest and make sure they're covering everything.
And then conversion's just like, give me the damn ball again, right?
You know, just take your opportunities, make the most of them.
Thanks, Steph.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
Hey, E, did you tell Sloan I said what up? It's Seth Green, and he mentioned what you were alluding to, that offensive coordinator Chuck Long said to us this week, short yardage, 4th downs, 3rd downs, has been their nemesis. So Seth Green just said it. They changed up what they did with the tendencies they've been showing. St. Louis with Darius Shepard on a return out to the 42, now down by 6. Tomorrow morning, the stars will be out for the Monaco Grand Prix. Catch the most famous race on the Formula One circuit at 9 Eastern, right here on ABC, with pre-race coverage starting at 7:30. Some of the Renegades diehards have watched a good Arlington performance against Manny Wilkins and the St. Louis Battlehawks, who are tied in their conference with the San Antonio Brahmas, who are coming up next. Arlington -2.5 on the live line. Wilkins directs, still with time, now tries to throw it away and does to the sideline as Tomasi Lalile got to him.
And that's what stood out to me the most, the time that Manny Wilkins had. So great job by Lalile getting to Manny Wilkins. But that time, he's going to start to try to scramble the more time he has.
Manny Wilkins has played a part in all 3 touchdowns for the Battlehawks. Screen, Ja'Cour Pearson. Peasy just back from an ankle injury, gets hog-tied, and third down coming, Stormy.
Yeah, I got one of the defensive leaders here for the Battlehawks, Travis Feeney. You just gathered up this whole defense, and we're very passionate with your words. What were you telling them?
Man, we just got to be 11 of those is a victory. You know, we just got to do our job. Right now, we're trying to do everybody's job. Right now, we're not doing our assignment right now for everybody. Communication. And I think just right now, we're putting a little too much pressure on ourselves. I think we need to get back, reset, and that's all I was trying to do, reset the guys. Let's get our mind right. Let's get going. Let's get this win.
You said no more points. If we're a championship team, we got to show that.
Exactly, man. If you want to be in the championship, your playoff recognition, you know, and I think a little bit, we looked ahead, looking a little bit right now, and I think, like, get back. If that's what we want to do, we got to win. We got to win out. We got to make sure we have no enemies. We got to make sure we're doing our assignment. Got to make sure you're doing every play, everybody. And you got to pick up your brother. Don't get on and pick him up.
Thanks, Travis.
Yep.
Stormy, good stuff. 31-year-old who was a Steelers draft pick and obviously one of the leaders. In the meantime, the offense gets a third down conversion with Hakeem Butler.
Yeah, he had 5 sacks last year. You talked about it, 6th-round pick by the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the word he mentioned, at least the initials, MEs, no more MEs, mental errors. They track those every single week. If you make a mistake on a play that you shouldn't have, it's called a mental error. You have to go and correct it.
First down, and Manny Wilkins got away from trouble. Wilkins running out of time, just gets rid of it. And a collision along the sideline, and then something extra there from Story Jackson, the backup linebacker out of Liberty.
And not only was Story Jackson there, but we saw Jane Harris there as well, standing on Manny Wilkins. So you see that pump, and it's hard. Quarterback like this in open space, he's going to pump you. But then you see Story Jackson give an effort, and Jane Harris have that second level protection.
Little shove there at the end to Manny Wilkins with 4 to go in this third. Screen, Darius Shepard. Nothing doing, just a yard. And it's third down.
We talk about momentum swings in this. Cole, what are you feeling right here? If you're offense 3rd and 9, where do you go?
Well, I want to get my quarterback on the move. So I want something where I'm moving the pocket and give him the option. If he doesn't like maybe 1st, 2nd read option, he can pull the ball down and run. I know it's still 3rd and 9, but he's got that explosive ability. I want the potential for Manny to be able to run this football. Either that or just throw it to 88.
Who lines up in the trips to the right. 4-man rush. They go left side looking for Pearson and broke it up. Heck of a play by Jamar Summers, the former UConn Husky, and it's 4th down.
Great play by Summers, and part of the reason why this play works, the ball looks like it's a little bit inside, so Summers can get his hands on it. But even bigger story is we talk about field position, but that's momentum. You score on one side, stop them on the other, get the ball back. Now you can make it a 2-score game. Offense leading to defense.
And now the first time Sterling Hofrichter has had to punt since St. Louis's first possession. Spins one at the 5, and it takes a hop into the end zone for a touchback. So 2:37 to go. Anthony Beck's team trailing San Antonio still to come later today against Birmingham, who has assured itself that it will be hosting its playoff game against Michigan in a couple of weeks. But Anthony Beck said to us he thinks that Birmingham is still inclined to finish out an undefeated season. So if the Battlehawks were to come back here and win, and if Birmingham does beat the Brahmas, that would mean that St. Louis is at home in the first round.
And not only that, but the championship game is in St. Louis. I've heard from a couple of the coaches and the players already. We want the rest of this season for us to play at home. We had 40,000 people there a few weeks ago, and so there's a major home field advantage in the Dome. You get a win, you get a chance to play it not only at home, but also in the championship.
St. Louis has the second best odds you see to win the championship behind Birmingham, who Stormy told you they were going to be minus very quickly. Devin Darrington with a cut for a first down out to the 40. 5'8" back out of Harvard, who did a year at Virginia as well, pick 15.
He was part of the Guardians last season. He's a smaller back, 5'8". What's hard about that is with his shiftiness, he can be hard to see if you're a linebacker, and then he's so quick, he can get around defenders.
His third game active after injuries to Day-Day Hunter and Letty Brown. Had only had 3 carries for 7 yards all year entering today. 2 to go in the third quarter. Arlington with it up by 6, and it's a screen, and there is nothing there to Caleb Vander Esch. Stormy.
Yeah, we talk so much about the importance of home field and the importance for Anthony Beck of championships. He told us he's had one in his life, his senior year of high school, 1994. Everywhere else he's been as a player coach, he's been trying. He said he's been close, but I haven't gotten there. He even joked with us he hates watching the freaking Super Bowl every year because he still thinks about how he never got that chance. He has been laser focused since the end of last year, trying to figure out why they fell short and what it takes to get there and win this year.
He has said all the right things, but make no mistake, he has aspirations to coach at a higher level. Perez has it dropped by Tyler Vaughns. 3rd down and 11.
And not only said all the right things, Mike, he's also been doing the right things as far as getting his team prepared to make not only big plays in big moments, but doing the little things well, taking care of your body, hydrating. He talked about all of those things so that when the play comes to you, you're able to make it.
Y-sail F shallow return on 1, ready? Dagger TV, check out.
Said, I know I need to prove myself, and I need to win a championship. Said, I don't want handouts. It's happening quickly in coaching for some guys nowadays. He's trying to earn it. 3rd down and 11. Perez steps up, directs, floats. Vaughns with redemption. A first down to the 40 on Keelan Kennedy to move the sticks for the Renegades.
And Tyler Vaughns, an all-XFL player from last year, former 5-star recruit. But watch Luis Perez. He gets up towards the line, but he stops before he crosses the line. The defenders think he's going to run. They step upfield. He gets it right behind him to the undrafted free agent from the Colts in 2021, Tyler Vaughns.
25 of his 37 yards there, and now Darrington on the ground for 3 yards. Austin Fallu in on the stop. Healthy this week after the concussion last week. To close out the third quarter here at Choctaw Stadium. 1-7, Luis Perez and Bob Stoops giving St. Louis everything they can handle.
I've got Arlington defensive end Will Clark. A little interesting battle going on across the field. I've seen you working on these tight ends. They seem like they're trying to give you a little extra today.
Yeah, so, you know, that's Coach Beck's position. You know, even though he's the head coach, he coaches the tight ends. And being a fellow WVU alumni like myself, I know he got some extra for me. So, you know, I just got to keep chucking away.
I thought if you were both West Virginia alums, you'd be taking it easy on you there a little bit.
Well, you know, that good old competitive rivalry, you know, we got to see who can get the better of the other. So, you know, I got to get them.
How does this defense contain this quarterback for one more quarter?
We just got to be ferocious. Just got to go, you know, go and attack them. That's the only thing you can do. You got to attack fast guys like Manny.
Thanks, Will.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
So now we're dishing out UFL branded bucket hats.
It's hot down there, man.
Listen, I don't need the dome burnt, okay?
Tilt it down a little for us.
We got a couple more weeks of this, okay? It's hot. We were lucky early we had the cloud cover. I didn't think it was going to be like this. And now the sun's out. I'm sweating like crazy. They offered me the hat mic, and I took it.
That's Cole Cantor on the side here as we start the fourth quarter with Arlington up by 6. Second down. Nice catch by the athletic tight end. And Seth Green, who's got a first down, and he has been involved throughout this second half.
Yeah, the former quarterback, 6'4", 240. But I love Keelan Kennedy, number 2, keeping it inside, really playing it from outside in, so the inside-out defenders can make that tackle.
Also, isn't it crazy how many tight ends these days are former quarterback? Dawson Knox came out of Ole Miss, former quarterback. Caden Prescorn, their tight end right now. He's a high school quarterback. Seems like that quarterback doesn't work. They just throw you a tight end.
And P.J. Fleck loved using Green as a wildcat option as well. Run by Devin Darrington as we work through some technical difficulties for you. And Arlington on the move, looking to go up by 2 scores.
I love their patience as well.
Let's go, Dart.
We talked about the heat and how it's affecting even Cole on the sideline. Imagine players on the field with their helmets and their pads. The defense can get tired.
Arlington favored by 6 and a hook on the live line. Darrington up the middle is swung down by Travis Feeney. Second down and goal.
That's that Travis Feeney we talked not only about, but too, he was saying no more points, no more points. This is a situation where it's second and goal, you have to bow up and just play your assignment. Don't do anyone else's job. Do your job, and everything else will take care of itself. Don't be yourself. Let them try to beat you.
Let's go, hurry up. Here we go. Here we go. Zay, right here, Zay. Here we go.
Zay is Isaiah Winstead, 14 in blue. Perez for Green, batted away. Incomplete to the goal line, and a nice defensive effort by Drayvon Askew-Henry.
And I would go as far as say, not just batted away, it went right between his hands. He had the interception right through his fingers. This dude went to the same high school, Aliquippa High School, as 3 NFL Hall of Famers, Mike Ditka, Ty Law, Darrell Revis. We talked about it earlier. He comes from extreme talent. He's got to finish that one.
Cousins by marriage with Darrell Revis, who Drayvon considers a mentor. And now Luis Perez and Arlington will use their first timeout in the second half.
Huh?
Hey, they go too high.
Let's listen in with Luis.
44, wristband 44.
34. What is that?
44.
This guy's like a player coach.
Yeah.
He said yes.
Yeah.
His preparation is one thing that stands out about me to him. He gets to know all his players' names, all his teammates' names as soon as he comes to a facility, understands the playbook, knows what the coach wants to game plan before the game plan gets put in.
Ready for scramble down here, okay? You ready for scramble? Don't leave early, though. Hey, come here. I'm calling the play. Come here. Come here. Hey, we're going to go on 1, okay? We're going to go on 1, okay? We're going to stay in here. 5 Dixie left, okay? 5 Dixie left. 50. Y bounce. F choice. X hammer. Z swirl. Okay, on 1, ready? Hitch.
Third down and goal. A guy that Chuck Long, his offensive coordinator, told us the most prepared quarterback Chuck Long's ever been around.
Hey, dragging. Here we go. Terrible, sit up.
5 wide, pressure, quick release. Sal Cannella swarmed just the yard with Tim Harris on the scene, and 4th down and goal.
And I love the word you use, swarmed, because not only is it Tim Harris, but it's also Cam Kelly. Cam Kelly didn't make the tackle, but he had effort around the ball. Remember, he recovered that muff fumble earlier in the game. And then Tim Harris has that same kind of effort. 6th-round pick in 2019 to the 49ers. He hurt his groin in training camp, spent that year in IR. So as you swarm to the football, even if you miss the tackle, one of your friends will be there as long as everyone's running to the ball.
This is to make it a 9-point lead, which in this league is still a 1-score game. And Jonathan Garibay is good to make it 30-21 Renegades. 9-point game in Week 9 in the UFL. This presentation of the UFL will continue after these messages and a word from our ABC stations. By Progressive, and how about the day for Luis Perez, who has thrown 3 touchdown passes and is 3 for 3 on 2-point tries.
How about the year for Luis Perez, who's leading the XFL in passing, and he's doing it on a team that hasn't found ways to win, but his pinpoint accuracy is giving his team a lead late in the game. Now all they're looking to do is to finish.
His offensive coordinator, Chuck Long, told us this week, I hope Luis Perez gets an NFL shot, because he'd be really good for a pro team to bring into a camp. And Chuck Long went so far as to say that Luis Perez has made Chuck Long, a Heisman runner-up, appreciate everything that comes with playing QB again.
Because it's that joy, not even just of playing QB, Mike, but it's also about playing football again. I mean, he comes in with the same type of passion and preparation and patience and poise every single week, no matter the circumstance. The preparation, at least from Chuck Long's perspective, is unparalleled. That brings him a great sense of joy in his player.
Blake Jackson thought Darius Shepard was going to field the return, and so with the ball down in the end zone, Jackson goes to touch it, and it'll be a touchback. Hey, the Week 10 UFL schedule begins Saturday with Michigan and Birmingham on ESPN, and then San Antonio and St. Louis at 4 on Fox. Sunday at noon on ABC, it's Arlington against DC, and Fox has Houston and Memphis at 7 Eastern. Well, confusion there on the return between Blake Jackson and Darius Shepard, but a touch back in the end for St. Louis to set things up from the 25.
And speaking of setting things up, so St. Louis down by 9 points. In the UFL, that's a 1-score game. It's a touchdown, then a 3-point conversion. But they're doing it with their backup quarterback. Remember, starter A.J. McCarron, he's out. He was out last week. He's out this week as well. And so Manny Wilkins hasn't been as effective this week with his arm as he was last week, but with his legs, he's just as effective as he was in the week prior.
Piloting St. Louis, who right now on the live money line is plus 500. Would have to bet 50, or rather bet 10 to get 50. And St. Louis opened as 2.5-point favorites. This is incomplete, the ruling on Manny Wilkins' throw in the direction of a Janae Harris. Second down.
But still, to the point that Cole and I were making earlier, even if it's ruled incomplete, that ball's on the ground, you got to pick it up if you're a Janae Harris out of USC. Why? Because you might go back and look at the replay, and it may be an empty hand. And if you have an immediate recovery, then it will be your ball. But if the ball just lays on the ground, even if it was a fumble, they'll still give the ball back to the offense.
St. Louis down 9. They've already clinched a playoff spot, but they want home field. Jacob Sailors slides down near the 30, brings up 3rd down and medium.
And this is where a quarterback's legs get extremely dangerous. I love the word you said, 3rd and medium. It's not 3rd and 15 or 20, it's 3rd and 5. And so if that first read isn't open, the second read isn't open, this is the time where Manny Wilkins likes to scramble and use his legs. Not scramble to pass, but scramble and try and tuck it and run.
Former Arizona State quarterback. With Jacob Sailors beside him. 4-man rush. Wilkins, sideline for Pearson, who made the catch for a 1st down. Arlington wanted a hold. They don't get it, and St. Louis has a fresh set of downs.
And they can still challenge, though they didn't get it. So there's a super challenge in the UFL. You see St. Louis getting the ball fast, so Arlington doesn't have time to challenge that it could have been holding.
Boy, feels like a good spot for it, but Bob Stoops doesn't use it. Stevie Mitchell on a screen. Gets only a yard.
Mike, I'm standing right down here next to Coach Stoops. I don't think that was even a real possibility to challenge. He definitely wanted the hold. The entire sideline was yelling it. You saw a couple of players kind of holding their jersey, but there was no real intent to go for that flag right there.
Again, you see it on the scorebook, and as Sam laid out, beneath the 2 timeouts left for Arlington, that red chiclet indicates the Renegades have that super challenge to use. Sailors met in the backfield and wrapped up. Willie Taylor was the first man to him, and now it's third down.
And now it's not third and medium, Mike, to your point. Now it's third and long, 3rd and 9. Usually these are obvious pass situations.
Willie Taylor is slow to get up, the edge rusher out of FCS Eastern Kentucky. 9.5 to go in Arlington. Back in Arlington, Texas, week 9 in a 10-week United Football League regular season. Sam Acho, Cole Kublik, Stormy Bonantoni, I'm Mike Monaco, our entire crew behind the scenes. With 9.5 to go, St. Louis knows it's going to the playoffs, but they want home field at the best atmosphere in this entire league if they can do it.
And Arlington's trying to do everything they can to keep them from getting home field.
Renegades with a little trouble shuffling on defensive personnel here, and so I think Bob Stoops might have to burn a timeout, and he does. So he's down to 1 remaining. Delonte Hood had come onto the field off the sideline right before the snap, then stepped back. And so just 1 left for the Renegades with still 9+ minutes to go.
Cole, how frustrating is it when you just come off of a TV timeout to have to use another one?
It just doesn't feel like it should ever have to happen. I mean, you've gotten everything's buttoned up, T's crossed, I's dotted, you know your personnel, you know formation, you know the call. It just, I don't know, Acho. It's always amazing when it takes place to me. Never should happen.
For an Arlington team that is 1-7, tied for the worst record in the league. But Sam cited others around this league earlier who have said might be the best 1-7 team ever. And 5 of the 7 losses for Arlington have been by 1 score. Their defense is trying to get off the field. This is a big 3rd down and 9 for Manny Wilkins and St. Louis. Wilkins bounces it incomplete in the direction of Blake Jackson, and it's 4th down, and the punt team comes out for the Battlehawks.
And one thing of note in the UFL, there's a running clock. And so as you just saw, it's an incomplete pass. Why is the clock still going? Well, outside of those last 4 minutes, the clock will continue to run. Excuse me, the last 2 minutes, the clock will continue to run. So that incomplete pass is critical because now a 9-point lead, Arlington may get the ball back and be able to run a lot more time off the clock.
St. Louis uses a lot of time before Sterling Hoffrichter spins one to Juwan Manigo, and it takes a Battlehawks hop down toward the 1, and it touched the goal line, so it's a touchback just out of the reach before Keelan Kennedy got to it. Game 3 of the NBA's Eastern Conference Finals is tonight at 8:30 Eastern here on ABC. The Celtics grab the lead in the series, and the Pacers are looking to turn the series around. Down 2-0 with coverage tipping off at 8 with NBA Countdown. Okay, so clock management-wise, how do you approach this if you're Arlington? With the lead and trying to soak more time, but maybe some balance of staying aggressive too?
I still want to be aggressive because of the rhythm that Luis Perez is in. Some of his passes look like handoffs, and so I have no issue with the being aggressive because run or pass, the clock does still run.
Yep. Even at 1-7, this has been a chance for all these players on both teams to put out some tape in their quest to get back or to the NFL. Davion Smith, right side for about 2.5 yards. Luis Perez even said 2 weeks ago, we're trying to also prove to everyone that they left out the wrong team from the playoffs. Said we're trying to get hot down the stretch. Grabbed a win a couple of weeks ago. They're only one this year. And would love to add on another against St. Louis.
Tunnel on 1, ready? On 1.
Heard that tunnel call. I'm expecting tunnel screen. What does that do for offensive line?
Sit up. Well, you got to get out quick because that tunnel screen is going to come back towards the football.
Where's the hunt?
It's to Manigo. Tunnel screen. And nowhere to go. Mike Rose got to him, and now 3rd down and long.
Man, that's brilliant recognition by Mike Rose out of Iowa State, Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. He started as a freshman. We talk about being cerebral, but he does it for himself and does it for other people. Him making plays helps other people be better.
Trough right, 7-7-6, double swirls. On top, ready? 7-7-6. Yes, over the ball.
Anthony Beck's hoping that Mike Rose stays healthy the rest of the year and gets back to the NFL. Midway through the fourth quarter, it's 3rd down and 7 for Luis Perez. Right side, wants Winstead, and it's dropped. Had a step on Chris Payton-Jones. 4th down.
The matchup that we've been watching all game long, Isaiah Winstead versus Chris Payton-Jones. Chris Payton-Jones played for the Seattle Sea Dragons last year, one of the best defenders in the XFL, as it was called last year. But in a new defense, there may be new types of coverage, but either way, you have to be better, have to play it tighter. But Isaiah Winstead, of course, he wants to bring that one down.
So only about 2 minutes go by from a St. Louis perspective. Force Arlington into a 3-and-out, and Marquette King got a low one away. Might have been tipped. Takes a bounce inside the 30, and a friendly roll for Arlington. Looks like Cam Kelly got a piece of that, so it sets up Manny Wilkins deep in Battlehawks territory, making his 2nd start for an injured A.J. McCarron.
And he's been relatively good. A couple balls that have been off target, but his receivers have stepped up and made tough catches. And then look at him. He's looking the safety off. Great ball again. And then he's used his legs. So he's gotten out quickly, also used his legs. He said in the beginning of the game, he said, I want to get it to my playmakers. And that's exactly what Manny Wilkins has done. Has got the ball out to his playmakers. And when he's needed to make a play, he's done it with his legs.
1 through the air and 2 on the ground for Manny Wilkins. Battlehawks down by 9. Jacob Sailors up the middle with a 1st down past the 35. Stormy.
Guys, all that Hakeem Butler was saying on the sideline here before the team ran out there was, all we need is a chance. The defense made that stop. They're ready to move the football here.
They get their chance here, Stormy. Inside of 6 minutes to go. And remember, being down by 9 is a 1-score game, because you could choose to go for 3 points from the 10-yard line if you want to after a touchdown. Wilkins, under pressure, got rid of it. Henri St. Amour out of Georgia Tech brought the heat.
Cole, I don't know about you, but this for me feels like what championship teams are made of. If you can find a way to come back at this point, this is the stuff the champs are built from.
I don't think there's any doubt, and that just comes with confidence. And this has been a confident football team this year. However, how many times have they been in this spot? Well, they've had to come back down in the 4th quarter, and definitely haven't been in this spot with Manny Wilkins at quarterback.
Jacob Sailors, by the way, after his pass pattern, was slow to get up and went slowly off the field. So Wayne Gallman checks in. Wilkins runs right side, and Wilkins finds some yardage, pushed out of bounds by LaRon Stokes past the 40, and now 3rd down with 5 to go.
And we get back to that 3rd and medium, 3rd and 6 or so. Last time we saw an incomplete pass in this situation, I wonder what it's going to look like with Manny Wilkins, how much he's going to trust his arm or go back to his legs.
And guys, by the way, it looks like cramps over here for Jacob Sailors, getting stretched out and putting cold towels and ice all over his body. Looks very uncomfortable here on the sideline, but just cramps.
They're running back the league's leader in total touchdowns. Yeah, will it be the legs from Manny Wilkins? Spinning away from Vic Beasley. Kept his footing. Wilkins still alive. Manny Wilkins diving and has a 1st down. Wow.
I don't have words. They had him exactly where they wanted him. Wow. Vic Beasley, 1st-round pick. Everything you would have hoped for, you had. And Manny Wilkins, in the 98-degree heat, makes everybody on the field miss and gets a 1st down by ½ an inch.
As hard-earned a 5 yards as you will find, but his left guard, Steven Gonzalez, one of the captains on this team, former All-Big Ten lineman at Penn State, slow to get up.
Hey, Mike, speaking of linemen, I'll tell you this, 62 Abdul Beecham stayed at the line of scrimmage and stayed in front of his defender that entire play, and that was the last cut that Manny Wilkins made to be able to score it ahead and grab first down yardage.
We look in on the U.S. Army Command Center, Cole, with Mike Pereira. And you mentioned Beecham, who is getting the start for the veteran Vidal Alexander at right guard, who's out with a toe injury this week. And Anthony Becht is hopeful he'll be back next week. And Mike Pereira looking at the spot here.
So everything is reviewed, at least every reviewable play. So line to gain, catch, no catch. So this is that line to gain that is being reviewed in the U.S. Army Command Center without being challenged.
By the way, we apologize for the technical difficulties here in Arlington, Texas, with our one camera waiting on the verdict from Mike Pereira.
Marquette King, you got a concert after the game?
Yes, sir. About to be live, lit, and turned up.
What's our first song?
I Can Kick a Ball. Never thought I'd ever make a song.
I didn't ask you to kick a ball. I asked your first song.
That's the name of the first song. Never thought I'd make a song about I can kick a ball.
What is it about? We know you can kick a ball.
47-yard.
Shoot, I'll just have
That's a shit spot. Replay, put it back.
Cole Kublik in conversation with Marquette King. And while that was going on, they have respotted it on Wilkins' diving bid. So you see, he spotted at the 47, a yard shy, and now 4th down and 1 after the Wilkins scramble is reduced.
And Jake Sutherland, another big tight end, is coming in. There's one of the best teams on 4th down. I saw what Manny Wilkins just did. I expect him to use his legs again.
Wayne Gallman still in there. Sutherland, that tight end, in motion. Wilkins searching and lobbing for Sutherland with a 1st down and more, and hurtling to the 37. 16 yards to move the sticks and keep St. Louis alive.
The man who scored the first touchdown of the season for his team has been a dream of his to play professional football, makes the most of every single opportunity. Jake Sutherland out of Morehead State.
His first catch today and only his 9th of the season. Coming up on 3 to go. Wilkins trying to dance away from Clark, and Manny Wilkins has to get rid of it over the head of his teammate A.J. McCarron.
I love that play by Will Clark, because one thing that we're taught as defenders is, hey, anytime a fast guy tries to stop, he's going to stop and try and juke you outside. It happened earlier to Will Clark, so we learned from it. He had outside leverage, didn't allow Manny Wilkins to get his outside shoulder free, and then Will Clark was able to make the stop.
So the clock continues to roll, and again, it will go this way even on incompletions once the ball is respotted up until the 2-minute mark. So approaching that here in the 4th quarter in week 9 in this 10-week season. Wilkins, sideline for Pearson. Oh! Intercepted by Stevie Jones. How do you do?
They call those lollipops. So he looked open, but that ball floated up in the air just a little too long, and Stevie Jones came from his safety position and high-pointed the ball. So instead of waiting for the ball to come down to the receiver, the ball hung up in the air just a tad too long. Stevie Jones comes from the middle of the field, high points it, gets that 2nd foot down. UFL rules, interception, Arlington ball.
Stevie Jones, what was the coverage? What did you read to be able to get that pick?
It was like a zone coverage, quarters. One go in, I got 2 coming out. Yep. See ball, go get ball, man. Make plays.
What is the turnover cowboy hat? What do we got?
You know it. Renegades, man. Raise the hell, man. Let's go.
There it is, fellas.
He's got a blue Renegades cowboy hat on after the takeaway. Inside of 2.5 to go. A couple of yards there on the ground. And you heard Luis Perez say it, let's finish this.
Well, and it starts with defense, right? Stevie Jones, 5'9", 188 out of Appalachian State. A first-team All-American, had 5 interceptions his senior year, undrafted free agent from the Tennessee Titans in 2023. Doesn't matter about your size, what school you go to, make a play, people will watch.
2-minute warning. Second down, St. Louis with 2 timeouts left in desperation mode. This presentation of the UFL will continue after these messages and a word from our ABC stations. The UFL, the Michigan Panthers at 6-2 against undefeated Birmingham on a 15-game winning streak with Adrian Martinez, probably the favorite for MVP.
And there was a quarterback battle or competition with him and Matt Corral earlier in the season. Both quarterbacks said, hey, just pick one of us. We want to go and show we can get it. Adrian Martinez made the most of his opportunities.
Hey, we're good. Here we go.
Here in the XFL Conference, Arlington leads by 9 over playoff-bound St. Louis, who has 2 timeouts and gets an incompletion from Luis Perez. Pressure from Pita Dalmoy-Penu, so 3 seconds come off the clock. And now because we're inside of 2 minutes, the clock stays stopped on an incompletion, and St. Louis does not have to use a timeout with 3rd down coming.
And that's another risk. So they've taken a few risks and have been successful, but this one was unsuccessful. But you got to take the good with the bad.
62, Z-Levels Viper. On top, ready?
A reminder, we've got Birmingham and San Antonio coming up next here on ABC in a very important game. St. Louis right now controls its own destiny to get home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs against the Brahmas. Those teams will meet next week.
No, I called. No.
Delay a game.
Wow.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down. Please reset the game clock to 1 minute 57 seconds. 1:57.
A gamble and then sloppy from Arlington.
And real quickly, guys, it appears in that Brahmas Stallions games, San Antonio is getting a little bit of love here. They were an 8.5-point underdog, looking at 6.5 right now. So people buying in on that game being important for San Antonio, and not so much Birmingham, because even though they technically haven't locked up home field due to some technicalities, they will have it.
Yeah, scheduling conflict at Ford Field in Detroit, and maybe that has to do with the line changing with San Antonio, perhaps getting back Chase Garber's starting quarterback, who got injured on what the San Antonio coaches felt was a dirty play in the first meeting with St. Louis.
Hey, go to 27, go to 27.
1:57 to go, 3rd down and 13 now for Arlington. 4-man rush. Perez climbs, takes off, and Mike Rose meets him. Anthony Becht can use one of his 2 remaining timeouts, and does. And how about that? 2 plays and only 10 seconds come off the clock, and it's 4th down.
And one of the things that people think now is, okay, well, the offense is going to get the ball back. This punt's going to go. No, the last punt was actually tipped.
Yes.
St. Louis tipped the last punt. They've blocked 3 punts so far this season. I was talking to Kyle Caskey, their special teams coordinator. He says that all their guys believe. They all believe now. They had a near punt block in their week 1 game that they nearly won, lost on a game-losing field goal. So they believe, and so they have. This is an important play to watch. Put it that way, because there's a punt block team that has gotten home, and once you get home once, there's a lot more confidence you can do it again.
You see the punt block group coming on the field for St. Louis, and 23 in the silver, Cam Kelly. Grazed it last time, as you mentioned, from Marquette King, the former all-pro punter in the NFL, where he spent 6 seasons. Darius Shepard's back at the 19.
They overloaded the left side, the top of your screen, so now that's why they're moving the offense to try and block up.
King got it away. Low kick, Shepard with some room to navigate. Shepard up the middle of the field, and he gets crunched at the 45, and it will be very good field position for St. Louis with 1 timeout and 100 seconds remaining, needing 9 points. Again, if you're just joining us, in the UFL, you don't kick extra points. You have the choice to go for 1, 2, or 3 points. If you want to go for 3, you set up shop at the 10-yard line. So if St. Louis can score, they can tie this game.
they have a timeout. Not only that, they also have a challenge left. You can only use that challenge if you have a timeout. And so there's a couple different ways this game can go. If something does or doesn't go their way, Anthony Beck can choose to use the super challenge.
And how does Manny Wilkins respond after the interception? Wilkins picked off again! Joe Powell stays on his feet and scores! It's a pick six to seal it.
The veteran out of Globe Junior College. Big time play under review.
It is. He remained inbounds the whole way, so I'm confirming the touchdown.
Unreal from Joe Powell with the balance along the sidelines.
From the Globe Institute of Technology, notice him stop. He's at middle field. He shows too high early, and then he goes down to single high. Manny Wilkins does not see him, and so usually that may be like a cover 9. So you start up high, you go down low, and right inside that route, the quarterback doesn't see it. You pick it, you score. Globe Institute of Technology, Joe Powell has done it in the return game. Now he does it as an interception return.
With a 50-yard run back. They go for one from the 2, and they throw it back, and that is intercepted. This can go back for a point for Keelan Kennedy. Streaking all the way downfield. And look, the way this thing is gone, 1 point can mean everything in the UFL. So it's a point for St. Louis, 36-22. And how often do you see a pick 6 followed up with a pick 1 from Joe Powell, Cole?
Joe, take us through what your read was on that play. Was there something that kind of keyed you off, gave it away?
It was all within the game plan. When running back is away and to the single receiver side, the backside safety got to come down into the fit. But it wasn't a run, it was a pass, so I really got the inside of number 1.
You know, Joe, they used to play baseball in this stadium. I believe that's what they would have referenced as a walk-off right there.
Yes, sir, man. Go Renegades.
You mentioned Globe Tech, a junior college in New York City that is now closed. Joe Powell only played 1 year of college football there. Ended up getting looks from the Giants and the Bills. This year came back to Arlington, but not until right before week 6. Bob Stoops has loved having Joe Powell back and said Joe Powell makes plays, and a guy that's been on a wild football journey. Started playing indoor football back in 2015. Went to Canada. Heck, in January of this year, got signed by the mighty Carolina Cobras of the National Arena League. And now here he is with a walk-off at Choctaw Stadium, perhaps.
He's been a model of consistency, but also of determination. When you need a winning play, Joe Powell finds ways to make winning plays.
The second pick 6 in the UFL this year. Joe Powell joining Houston's Corn Elder, who had 98 yards on the run back in week 2. 1:31 to go, 14-point lead for Arlington. And this is Ja'Cour Pearson looking for a lane, and he gets wrapped up by Story Jackson right around the 40. So the last 2 possessions for Manny Wilkins and St. Louis have ended in interceptions. Down 14, 1 timeout left, and yeah, perhaps a walk-off indeed, and too large a deficit for the Battlehawks.
And for those who track this kind of thing, guys, Manny Wilkins 8 yards away from his passing yards prop. You're actually relieved if you bet him that they had the pick brought all the way back home, so they have a chance to get the ball again. You know they're going to have to pass it downfield. So that prop very much so still in play here as well.
And 2 passes that have hovered in the air, and if you had the over on it, you're hoping they were completed, only to see interceptions instead. Wilkins takes the deep shot for Stevie Mitchell, but it's out of bounds. So 1:18 to go, and second down coming for St. Louis.
Cole, what do you tell a young quarterback, at least a young quarterback in the system, if you're a veteran offensive lineman, veteran in that locker room, in that huddle?
Well, basically, it's just, this is where it counts. This is where we make our money. Give us all the communication possible, and if you need us to help you out, let them. you got a veteran center that probably should be playing in the NFL, Acho. If he sees something, take that advice. Let him set everything up front and then just go off of that.
A reminder, we still have part 2 of this doubleheader in the United Football League still to come right here on ABC with 2 playoff teams. Birmingham and San Antonio. Wilkins up the seam, and he's picked again. Miles Dorn's got it this time, and that will absolutely stamp this. And Arlington will grab its 2nd win of the season and take down St. Louis.
So Miles Dorn's dad played in the NFL for 7 years. Miles Dorn, 6'1", 214 out of North Carolina, undrafted free agent to the Tennessee Titans in 2020. He has big-time game experience. But this Renegades team, bigger picture, bigger story, to be 1-7, to have lost the way you lost last week, at least played the first half the way you played defensively, they have responded to monumental levels, to the coaching, to Bob Stoops, to everyone in that locker room to come out this way.
Man, and how about the significance of this? Now, San Antonio will be a half game ahead of St. Louis, who again has the best atmosphere in this league, and it is a tough place to go in the playoffs in front of maybe 40,000, perhaps more than that. And now San Antonio controls its own destiny. They've got this huge matchup with Birmingham, who doesn't have a ton to play for in terms of hosting. They already know they will host in the first round, but they haven't lost in more than a calendar year. And then on top of that, you're talking about a San Antonio team that next week will get St. Louis again, and that could be significant if Birmingham were to win.
Birmingham plays for pride, and they haven't lost in over a year. And so that game that's coming up right after this is going to mean everything for Birmingham, and it's already meaning everything for San Antonio.
Huge stakes to unpack the rest of the football day here on ABC. St. Louis had thrown 3 interceptions all season, and in the 4th, St. Louis threw 3 more, and Arlington came away with the takeaways and a huge 2nd win of the season for the Bob Stoops-led Renegades. Cole, that was something.
A lot of mayhem there in the final 5 minutes of that football game, but I think one thing I'm going to take away from this one is Manny Wilkins is special. He's dynamic, but we may have seen the importance of A.J. McCarron in the final quarter of this football game today.
Yeah, that's the other angle to this as well. How healthy is A.J. McCarron next week if that game does mean something, depending on this San Antonio outcome, and more importantly in the playoffs, what is the health of A.J. McCarron's ankle? We will see, and it is going to be quite the ride.